Hey, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom with Carlito and Tom. I'm your host, Carlito Castro. Thank you guys for being here. I see some people in the chat already. Let me just, okay, there it is. Hey, what is up? I gotta turn the, the volume down because then I get feedback. Yeah, hey, everybody, welcome back, and I'm glad you guys. I invited quite a few people because I knew this interview is going to be interesting. Again, like the last one, this is actually a part 2 of Ricardo Sanchez, Ricky. I like to call him Ricky. And I'm going to start with the comments because then I'll take a long time to catch up. And then, yeah, so I'm having him back after a year. Me and Tom actually, had him over this channel a year ago, and we discussed a lot of things, and I was just checking this out the other day. I think it was yesterday. His encounter has the most views on my channel, like out of all my interviews, all my shows. So I was like, wow, okay. That's interesting. Okay. And so yeah, I'm super stoked to have him back here on the show, and we have more pictures to show y'all, more recordings, just like last time. And he's waiting backstage for me, waiting for me to bring him on. And so yeah, it's gonna be a great show. And thank you everybody who showed up. Thank you. I see Steve Riley on there, Tom from North Carolina Cryptid and Paranormal Project. Anthony from Ant Rocks. See a bunch of people on here already. Thank you guys. I will catch up with the comments. Okay, just be patient. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring them on here in just a second. But before that, I'd like to make a little small announcement. Not too long. I'd like to have start with my buddy Martin Groves. I don't know if a lot of you seen him already, and around the media, around the cryptid media. He had an accident, a car accident, not too long ago. I think it was like a week or two ago, and he said his RV camper was smashed in. He showed me the pictures, and yeah, it smashed in from the side. I don't know how exactly it happened. I didn't really want to get into details with him because I didn't want to want him to think that I was being nosy or anything, but what he told me was enough for me to understand. And he luckily survived that accident because he was in the hospital, and I just spoke to him yesterday, and he's doing better. He's taking his medication and everything, but I just wanted to bring that out real quick, and and give him a shout out. Martin Groves, if you're watching, or if you watch this later, I hope you get well soon, brother. And I'm pretty sure everybody else that knows you wishes you well, to get better soon as well. Sending you prayers. And yeah, that's about Marvin. And I just wanted to do a little special shout out to Brad Kidd at Anything. It's a long name. I had to write it down. Anything Cryptozoology, UFO, Paranormal, Paleontology, Astronomy, Dragons. That's his. If you guys can go over and check his Facebook page out, that would be greatly appreciated. He's a great friend of mine and other people in the cryptid community. And also, I would like to make a special shout out to my good friend James West at Greene County, PA Cryptids. Actually, I just shared a picture of his from his group. I seen it and I spoke to him. Same thing a day or two. Right now he's actually doing an expedition. He's out there with a couple of guys, and I told him, well, be safe out there, man, and hopefully you can find something. He sent me some pictures that he was on an expedition right now with a couple of people, and hopefully he can find some audio or video, some type of evidence out there. That's what he's doing. So shout out to you, James West at Greene County, PA Cryptids. By the way, check out his page, cryptid page, guys, and if you can join his group, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, so that's it for the for the intro and the shout outs. Now let's go ahead and get our special guest on here tonight, huh? Let's do that. Hey, what's up, Ricky?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right, brother. I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked to have you back, brother. Oh, by the way, guys, if y'all can check out my new shirt, I put it on at the last minute. If y'all can see it, it's Hellbent Holler from Joe Doyle and shit, I forgot. Her last name is Lay. Jessie Lay from Hellbent Holler. If you guys can check them out too, they're a great couple that do investigations, and I think they're working on their I just spoke to Joe a couple of days ago. They're working on their new LBL documents. So yeah, or expedition. So yeah, special shout out to y'all too, brother. You know I love y'all, man. Yeah, hey, how you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing good.
Good, man. Good. So I was telling everybody that I had you here a year ago, bro, and you know, I remember it was a great show. It was a great show. A lot of people liked it, and I was telling the chat right now that you are actually my top viewer video when you were here a year ago, bro. Which is episode 16. If anybody wants to check it out, episode 16. And yeah, man, it's like you're the top viewer. Like your interview has the most views in my channel. Period. Like it's got like 700 and something, close to 800 views on there. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I'm really glad to have you back, bro.
Good to be back.
Yeah, man. That's all. Like, man, I gotta get Ricky back on. And you hit me up. I said, hey, Carlito, shit. What if you want me to come back? I can do it. You know, pretty soon here. I'm like, hell yeah, man. But that's when I was sick. Remember, Ricky? I told you I was sick about 2 weeks ago. Uh-huh. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, I wish I can, but dude, I'm freaking sick right now, and I can't do it. You were just laughing. But yeah, man. Glad to have you back, bro. And I know the first time around we only covered a certain amount of information that you have, because you have tons of information, for what I know. And we only scratched the surface. Remember us saying that, like at the end. Yeah. And then so I really want to get some more information out there, brother, to you know, to help people. You know what I mean? That because that's ultimately what we do. You know, me and my close cryptid buddies, trying to get the truth out, you know, and trying to help people any way we can, you know, with information, what to do and what not to do, you know, stuff like that. So, right. You know, that's our ultimate goal, you know what I mean, to help people out. But yeah, so yeah, man, have you? Let me start by asking you, Ricky. Have you done any new expeditions, bro? Because I know you used to do a lot, so. But I don't know how many.
The last year, I've been in transition and moving from one state to the other. So,
right.
So I've been.
Right. Go ahead, Ricky. Kind of lost you there, bud. Ricky, you still there, bro? Kind of lost you, man, or lost your audio actually. Trying to see if I muted you by accident. No, I didn't. No, you're still there.
Hold on.
Okay, I hear you now.
Hold on 1 second, because it seems. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yep, I can still hear you, bro.
Okay. So moving. I'm still doing research, just not expeditions type. I always like to do, 5 days, average on an expedition.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you go to a certain place, the first 2 days, first of those days are mostly them finding out what the hell is this guy is doing here and stuff like that, and from there, then their curiosity, if set, is when they begin to take notice and want to. I use the word interact with the team. So I always use that like 5 days average. We are planning on doing an expedition. Right now, it's too early for me to say where, and how and who's going.
Right.
But, we are planning an expedition, which is going to be very interesting for me.
Okay.
I've been there before. I've gotten activity there before.
What state, if you don't mind me asking?
What state is the expedition going to be in?
Gonna take place, yeah.
Kentucky.
Oh, awesome! Hell yeah.
Kentucky.
That's a hot spot right there.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, but for this past year or so, I've been moving. So I've been busy with all that other details.
Right.
It just happens that where I moved to and where I'm living now, we have both of them coming in and out once in a while. So, I still have to deal with them, trying to figure out who is this new person in the property.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Absolutely. And speaking of that, I was going to ask you, like, how's that going with your house? Because I remember you were saying that back a year ago you were barely doing like the trenching and the laying out of the house and all that. How's that been going, bro?
Well, it's going good. We've had some difficulties because I'm not building a huge house. It's more like a cabin. I'm trying to get away from cities and stuff like that.
Right.
In general, crowds and people stress me out. So.
Yeah, I remember you told me you were trying to get away from the people in the big towns.
It's a new experience, new place, new state, new area.
Right.
And then living out in the boonies, things cannot get done as fast as if you live in a more populated city.
Right. Right.
So things get a little more expensive when you have to have them delivered.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Versus, if you live next to Home Depot,
right?
Sometimes it's just a few bucks to ask them to deliver versus $100 because you live all the way down there.
Right.
So things have been slowed down. It's still in progress, right? Nothing has stopped. It's just slower than expected, but still in progress.
Right. Okay. That's cool. I was just wondering, how that was coming along. You know what I mean? And I remember you said you have you have an RV out there right now, right?
Yeah.
While it's been finished and all that.
Yep.
Cool. All right, cool. Hey, let me ask you something else too, man. How have you been out with Paul? Because I remember you saying Paul was going to be, that close to you to start doing expeditions out there. Have you been out there with Paul yet, or no? Are you working on that?
Not yet. I've talked to Paul recently.
Paul Chafin.
For him to come down to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I have a new spot that an eyewitness lives in, and he wants us to check it out. I got some activity the first day out. I did some vocalizations that I have. Not on a loudspeaker, but some that I do using my own mouth. So, as I was recording, I got some sounds back and a possible picture of something in the trees. Obviously, it's too far away, so I always use the word possible because we don't know.
Right.
But it is a hot spot when it comes to topography and the general area of what you expect for Dogman. So I'm wanting Paul, who's the closest one, to come down with me at least 2 or 3 days to scope out the area. I'm trying to coordinate between my job and the process of the cabin and stuff like that. to be able to just take those days off completely,
Right.
and spend it focused on that area.
Right. Okay. Hey, what about Kirk Stokes? Because I know Kirk Stokes did a lot of researching with Paul Chafin. Do you talk to him? I mean, are you acquainted with him?
I haven't talked to Stokes. I don't think we've ever even talked over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think we've ever have talked.
Mm.
Nothing
Okay.
bad or anything. It's just we've never
Right. No, right. I was just asking because I know Kirk Stokes did a lot of researching with Paul Chafin. I think it was last year. They were talking about a lot of research they had done. Yeah, that's the only reason I asked, bro. Because I don't know where Kirk Stokes lives. I don't know where he lives, so I don't know if he's from Tennessee or Alabama. I really don't. I never talked to him personally, so I don't know where he lives. But yeah, no, it's cool, man. Hey, I think we lost your audio again, Ricky. Do you think it might have something to do with your signal or something? Because I lost your.
No.
Okay, there it is. I got you back.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think what happens is when the phone goes black for being on.
Oh yes, when it turns off the screen, whatever.
So unfortunately, I have to leave it now to keep my finger on it.
Okay. No, it's cool. That's cool, bro.
Yeah,
you can stay like that. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. The lock screen or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes like about 5 minutes to lock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking.
I can hear you, but once it goes black, I can still hear you, but you can't hear me.
But I can't hear you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
I just realized that because on Zoom, it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
If the phone goes black, I can't hear some audio.
Right. Well, since I'm closer to since I'm closer to the camera now, I didn't want to see my fat face so close up, but that's why I wanted you on it. But look, I'm gonna show y'all my shirt, man. Hellbent Holler. Man, it fit perfect, dude. It fit like I wanted it to because I'm an XL, but Joe told me it was a 2XL. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me get it. Fuck it. I'll take it. And when it got here, I was like, damn, that looks kind of small for a 2XL. So when I tried it on, I was like, dude, that shit fits perfect. It fits just like an XL, because if it was a 2XL, it'd be all like this and hanging out on the sides. It fits like nice and snug. Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. Yeah, they're good people, man, and I'm always, giving.
I talked to her in messages on YouTube.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, she's a sweetheart, man. She's so cool, and Joe is too, man. Joe's a cool ass dude, bro.
Right.
But
good to know.
Yeah, that's what I was just asking you about, Kirk, man. But if not, then that's cool. It's cool because, like I said, I don't really talk to him, so I don't know. Paul's the one that really talks to him a lot, but yeah. So on that note, so you're saying you're working on something with Paul, right? You told me
to come to Tennessee. Yeah, there's an area that I want to research. Mm-hmm. Which is funny because I sent out looking for I'm hiring a partner for an expedition, and Paul was the only one that accepted the invitation the way I wanted it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I researched a certain way, and my success has been because I believe, right? Because of the way I do things.
Right.
And because of that, I will not change that way. And a lot of individuals, right, want to do things differently. And the way
So basically, Paul is the one you're most compatible with. That's what you're saying?
Well, no. Yes, and Paul was the only one that said I'll do it that way.
Okay.
because I had some criterias. For
Right.
instance, one of the criteria that I had was I don't mind handguns in the field, especially when it's a new area. I will not take rifles.
Okay.
And many people want to take rifles. Well, if you want to take rifles, you're not going with me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I will not take people who are into certain things because in the field, new scenarios and situations, I don't feel comfortable in how they may or may not respond, especially in new situations. So because of that, I needed somebody who was level-headed, who isn't, and it's interesting. I had one individual tell me, "Well, does that mean that you're against guns because you want to take rifles?" And I say, "No. I don't
Right.
man. I don't mind handguns and on expeditions. I've taken
Right.
handguns, right? And two or three of us have had handguns. I don't like carrying rifles into the field, and the reason for that is really simple and basic. And some people might not understand that is we are researching an intelligent creature, right? If there's an old saying that says, if you walk like a duck, quack like a duck, look like a duck, then you are a duck,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, if you act like a hunter, look like a hunter, and have rifles and whatnot, and basically, you look like a hunter, well, then you might be a hunter.
Right.
And regardless of how you behave, regardless if you take out your rifle or have it, slung on your shoulder or whatnot, the visual is still there. And if I want to be able to positively interact, right, or not look at and not look as a threat, then I can't look myself as if I'm out there looking for a big game. And if a cryptid thinks that I am a hunter, he is not going to behave. I'm going to use the word neutral, right? And he might behave in ways that I might not be able to get the data that I want. So I need the cryptid to rather feel neutral, or let's say to some degree feel empowered to not be in hiding and come out.
Right.
That's the only way you're going to get data.
Right. Where it doesn't feel like it's being hunted or something.
Right. So because of that, I have criteria of what I do and don't do in the field.
Okay. Gotcha.
And if having a rifle is already on your mind, well, and you give me 1,000 excuses, then you're not the person that I want on the field. Period.
Right.
Because your mind is already on that mindset.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a person, what the person's background is. Some people might tell me, well, I've been a police officer for so many years. I've been in the military for so many years.
Right.
And sorry to tell you,
that really doesn't matter. It's more like of right. their demeanor, right?
Right. It's their demeanor, their background. Like for instance, I used to be a correctional officer in a maximum security prison. There's been officers with tons of more years than I have or had at the time that I wouldn't trust my life with them. Very skittish, very, very nervous, anxious, which only made things worse in a situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and the same thing goes with, police officers is, regardless of your background, it has nothing to do with what you did. It has to do with who you are. Right.
As a person.
As a person. And some people can't take, we how many times haven't we heard of military guys seeing a Dogman and rather leaving the state, going into remission of PTSD really bad. Hell, last year, was it last year or the year before, we had one young buck who was in military type service, right? who committed suicide after he saw a Dogman.
Ooh, wow.
So what you do doesn't matter to me. It's who you are.
Right, right.
And if your your security is your rifle, then you might not be the guy for me. It's just that's the way I feel. That's the way I've gotten
Right.
most action,
Right.
most information. Sure, have I been scared shitless? Have I been surrounded? Have I been growled at? Have I been huffed at? Et cetera, et cetera. Absolutely, right?
Right, right.
But I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, can you really hit a moving target, regardless if you have a handgun or not? Basically, can you really hit a moving target at 50 plus miles an hour?
Nah.
Bouncing off the trees?
No. That's really hard to hit a moving target, especially how fast they're portrayed to run. No,
Right. So I found that there's something that they're for the most part all scared of that I can use that will stop a Dogman dead in his tracks before it even thinks of coming or running towards me.
Right.
So, and it's something that you buy at your gas station. Which is simply a mosquito spray and a lighter.
Right, you were telling me, the famous.
So once they see fire, it's like as any other natural creature, right? They see fire, they slam on the brakes. Regardless of how far they are. I don't care if he's beside me, and I haven't seen them. If I throw a flare because they're afraid of it, they're going to stop.
They're going to stop, yeah.
Right. So when that happens, I'm not going to push I'm not there to push my limits. Once it stops, hey, guess what? I already know you have bad intentions. I'm walking out.
Right.
That's all I need is them to stop for me to get out.
And you know what, too, Ricky? That causes one of two problems, right? They can either get scared and leave, and you're not going to catch anything, or they can get threatened and attack you, that's what you don't want. You definitely don't want that.
Right.
So, that's like looking for trouble, basically. You know what I mean?
But in my years and my experiences, when they see the fire, they're out.
Yeah, exactly. That I've always said that those type of creatures, or any creature actually, any animal is more scared of a fire than an actual gun or bullet or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. And especially these cryptids, they're not going to be scared of guns. You know what I mean? We've heard many encounters where they shoot them and they just look at it like, what the hell is that? What's that going to do? You know what I mean?
Through the years and through time and being out there, one situation or one concept, because of different eyewitnesses and myself experiences or whatever, no living creature is born knowing what a gun is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
No living creature. Nothing is born knowing what a gun is. Because the gun is man-made.
Right.
It's not natural in the woods. It's not natural in the wild. The problem you have is, especially with guns, right, and rifles and whatnot, you do not know if the cryptids that are living in a certain spot have had a bad experience with a rifle, right? Rather be at a farm, somebody shooting at them before when they were younger or whatnot. When you have a cryptid who has had a bad experience with a gun, a rifle, do you really think you're going to get anything from that cryptid besides aggression?
No, and plus they're going to know what a gun is, like many encounters of, they see the gun and they know what it is, you know what I mean?
Right, because they've had a bad experience with it. So once they see it, like, all right, time out. This thing shot me last time, and it kind of hurt my shoulder. This guy, I don't like this guy. And those are the ones that come from behind you, right? Because they know they can't stand in front of you, and they'll come from all different directions.
Oh yeah, they'll flank you.
And now those that don't know what a gun is, like you said, right? And this has been, you can, even on if you're listening to YouTubes and whatnot, you'll listen to some of these stories where a Dogman will get shot and just look at its arm like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, exactly.
In a case of one story that I heard many years ago, the guy shot over the head because he thought it was a Bigfoot. And his intent was to scare it, and the Dogman ran towards him versus away from him.
Right.
Right. All of this, if you look at general behavior, right? All it is curiosity over something it doesn't know.
Yep.
Because it doesn't know what the hell that is. It's new to him. The curiosity is going to bring him towards it to figure out what the hell is that.
Yeah.
You know. And when he gets shot the first time out, he's still trying to figure out, okay, what did this guy do from down there that hurt my shoulder?
Right.
So yeah, he's looking at it like, what the hell? He's trying to comprehend.
Right.
But
yeah.
This is a creature that doesn't or has never been shot, doesn't know what a gun is.
Right.
Hence why he got shot, because he doesn't understand what it is.
Yeah.
You know, versus a creature that he can probably see a stick, and he'll respond to it aggressively because it reminds him of a gun.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's true.
And this happened to us in Illinois. Me and a buddy of mine, we were walking a trail. We were trying to map out where a clan was. At home.
Hey, my buddy Tommy said it need a flamethrower. You imagine?
If it wasn't so heavy, I'd probably take one to
yeah. No, not only that, you could catch the whole forest on fire. You know what I mean? That's kind of dangerous. But I mean, it's an awesome thought, but you know, it is kind of dangerous.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, me and my buddy, we went at my house. I was mapping out where a clan might have been, right? So we went out, and you know, he walks with a walking stick. When you're walking in an area, because a few days before it had like rain and stuff like that, so I want to see if the ground was possible for footprints.
Right.
And as he's walking, he's feeling sick to his stomach. Not me, only him.
Wow.
But he's the only one with a walking stick.
Wow.
Right? So like I mentioned, even a stick can cause a reaction because it may remind them of something else. He was the only one that had a stick, and he was the only one who got sick, not me. I went in there to find for tracks. He stayed on top of the trail, and as I'm walking, and I know you probably have heard the audio and heard me talk about this, but for those that haven't, I walked. This was in Illinois. I have to walk down a little bit from the actual trail. Normally, it's moggy and whatnot. You really can't walk on it, but it's cold, so everything's been frozen over, so I can easily walk on it. And as I'm walking, looking down for tracks, his head just pops up from the dry grass. As I look up, I saw the head, and obviously I looked up, saw it, and looked back down, and looked back up again, you know? And I started screaming, Dave, behind me, is there something behind me? You know, because the first instincts when you've been in those situations before is, if there's one in front of you, there's one behind you.
Yeah.
You know? And sure enough, Dave...
They come in groups.
Yep. Dave began to look, and he screamed out, behind you, he's right there, he's right there. Like, and my brain was like, shit. You know? So I told Dave, keep an eye on him. And these guys began doing semicircles, left and right. You know, one would go one direction, the other would go the other direction. And at one point, Dave mentioned, you know, hey, I think you should get out of there. And okay, I agreed, you know. And I stepped back, but then I was mad. I was mad at myself because everything that I had to record and to video, whatever, had left in the car. And this was in an area where most people would have thought impossible for a cryptid to have been in. And I turned around with my cell phone and I went back. And on audio, you catch it huffing at me. And that was it. We went back. But going back to what I was saying is, even a walking stick, can trigger a cryptid that have had a bad experience with a gun or something.
Right.
And because of that, the last thing I want, if I'm a true researcher wanting to research behavior, how they move, what they respond to, et cetera, is to make them uncomfortable.
Right.
So I have to make them feel like they have the upper hand.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Obviously, I know different things and how they maneuver.
Right.
So they catch quickly, that I'm onto them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't see. I'll use the word my weapons.
Right. Yeah, they don't see the threat.
Right.
In other words, yeah.
They'll become curious because, like, how does this guy know that I'm over here?
Right.
How does this guy knows that these clicking sounds that he's hearing is me?
Yeah.
How does he know that these
right.
Chirpy sounds is me? How does he know this or that?
Right.
Versus, this guy has a gun, a rifle, a stick, or whatever. I'm not happy with him here.
Right. Hey, Ricky. I want to change it up a little bit tonight because normally I do like the almost the full interview and then the pictures towards the end, but I want to do it the other way today because a lot of people might not be towards the end. My good buddy Tom, he goes to sleep kind of early, like say around 10 or so, or 9:30 or 10 Eastern time. So he's actually going over right now. So I wanted to show the pictures we have to show them right now. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. And then after that, then we'll continue with the encounters and the stories and stuff. So yeah, man, let me go ahead and put that up right now. I'm getting it ready. Hey, what's up, Dark Woods? Thank you for joining, brother. I spoke to him this morning. He was just a little sick. He's a good friend of ours, Dark Woods. Steven Siegel. He's got great research and videos and evidence too, bro. I don't know if you ever talked to him before, but yeah, he's got great evidence, man. I interviewed him like I'm gonna say maybe 2 months ago or something. But yeah, let me pull this up. There it is. Okay, and let me go ahead and where's that? Okay, there it is. So I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna start with the pictures, okay?
Right.
And and you can give us like a little explanation on.
These are from an eyewitness in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She was, she had some issue. She had a little issue with a Dogman. They were around the property. Mm-hmm. They had taken a goat from her.
Okay.
But she wanted to see how she can keep her goats safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously I asked a lot of questions, right? That's something that people don't understand is not every scenario is the same, not every situation is the same. So you got to ask 1,000 questions to figure out the why behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed in her case, and everything was the last time I talked to her, no more goats were taken. It seemed that in her case,
those are huge prints, bro. God,
yeah.
Dog.
I have I laugh kind of because it's kind of funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it for those on social media, this seems like not right? It seemed that the Dogman took the goat because it wasn't in its paddock.
Look how deep they are too, bro. God damn, man. That's about, I gotta say at least 3/4 inch deep, bro. At least. Did you measure them? Did you check that out?
No. I didn't measure them. These were the eyewitness sent these to me.
Mm-hmm.
These were exactly where the Dogman had stood is where the prints were.
Right.
So these aren't guessing. These are.
Did she get a good look at them?
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us, man. Tell us. We want to know, bro.
I mean,
Inquiring minds want to know.
this one, she had one was white in the property, and she had things taken, like
Damn.
which was funny because the stuff that has always happened to her, she never associated with Dogman until she began to talk to me. And when she began to talk to me, she realized that unknowingly she was giving them a safe haven for them there. So they have known her for many years while on the property. And like I said, they took the goats. They took one goat not because of being mad at her or anything. One of these the goats, she had taken it out of the paddock and put it on a grassier pasture. And while they were, having a Sunday evening, right, or Saturday, it was a weekend, right? They were out as a family. It was taken, and it just seemed that the Dogman, because every time she would leave a goat in the paddock, which was fenced in, they would leave the goat. They would leave the goats alone. She had no other goats taken. Just that goat that was taken out of the paddock. So it seemed like to them was, well, if you're putting out in the field, then it's ours.
Yeah, it's free game. Yeah,
right.
Because he got out of the corral thingy or whatever.
No. She put him out.
Oh, why'd she put him out?
To eat more grass.
Oh, okay.
And while they were having, I guess, their barbecue or whatnot, it took it.
So they respect the corral thingy then, huh?
Well, for her, remember, every person is different.
Right.
You have dogmen that will go into the corral and take all your chickens.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll have some that will go into and kill your cattle. Right. But every person is different. Every situation is different. And that's why I think it's happening with the research, is that people associate one scenario with everything, and it's not like that, and then everybody doesn't. No one will ever blame themselves for doing something that might have caused the situation. They always twist it, and everything's the Dogman's problem, right? So when I come in, I ask 1,000 questions, and sure enough, in every single scenario, you always find the why the Dogman was actually doing something. And I have yet to have a situation where the Dogman was just simply a big asshole. You have Dogman that in certain situations can be an asshole, but it's not. It'll last short. It's short-lived. It's not a prolonged situation. So if you're having, if an eyewitness is having a prolonged scenario, years, months, right? With a Dogman problem, I have yet to find that the person didn't do something first in return.
Right.
And the reaction of the Dogman being vengeful, being, they'll retaliate, and they'll continue to retaliate until it feels safe not doing so.
Hey Ricky, I just wanted to point out to you, man. I'm really good with measurements, right? From my trade, being a pipe fitter and a carpenter, contractor. I noticed those two prints are not the same size, bro. Do you think they might have been maybe multiple, or father and son, or father and daughter, or whatever? I mean, because they don't look exactly the same size, bro.
Well, there's more than one Dogman in the property.
The one in the back, I'm gonna show the people in the comments. This one where I got my arrow, the one in the back looks bigger than the one in the front. Yeah, that one looks. Unless they have, I don't know. You think maybe her front paws were the front ones and the back paws were the? Because I know the back paws got to be bigger. They just have to be.
Well,
that's where you got the most power.
That's a detail I can't tell you.
Right.
No. I know I can answer that question, right? But I can't give you the answer.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay.
And I'll tell you, and I'll tell why, right? I'll tell you why I can't tell you. Again, I know the answer to what your question is,
Right.
right? But I
'Cause
can't answer it because
Right. Okay.
the only way a true researcher can know if an eyewitness who calls them up is lying,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
is when they give them information that normally isn't found on social media.
Okay.
So, for
Okay.
instance,
Yeah.
I might have information that isn't really found on social media and people have never heard. Only a true eyewitness have heard it. So when somebody calls me up and I hear them say something similar, then I can refer them to what I have, an audio, a picture, or this or that. And off the bat, okay, now I know this person is telling me the truth. There's been many people. Now, if I were to share everything that I have and know, that it's not really life-saving information, right? Like, for instance, the answer to your question here isn't life-saving. It's not going to save somebody's life. It's just information on that print, right?
Right.
By me keeping it and other information, I will continue to be able to wean out those who aren't telling the truth and those who are when they present something. When they come to me, obviously, when you hear something on social media or like a story, whatever, it's hard for you to really say the person is lying or not, right? Because that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is when a person calls me up, right, and wants information because of what they have or don't have, there has been many times where the person calls me up and through questioning, because they think I'm going to give them just do this. Or just do that. And that's never the case, because every scenario is different. What I tell you to do, it might not be the same thing I'll tell somebody else to do. And by keeping some information that might be pertinent to their behaviors, when it comes to vocalizations, when it comes to certain things, then I'll know that the person is telling me the truth or not. So, for instance, give me an example. An eyewitness calls me up and tells me that he has tracks similar to these, right? And he gives me a detail from the track, because they'll send me a picture and I'll say, okay, but what's this? And I'll ask a question, me being dumb. Well, what's this? And they'll tell me, oh, but that's this. Off the bat, in my mind, yes, that person is correct. That's what that is.
Right.
So sometimes I withhold some information like that.
Well, I'm just, that's just me talking, because I like to, how do you say this? Look into things, I like to ask questions. I like to, see the possibilities of what it could be, because if this had been on my property, I would have wanted to know, was that multiple or was that just one? And maybe it got down on all fours, because they say that they're normally more comfortable on all fours, but then they stand up for small periods of time to kind of like a meerkat, when they stand up and they look around, whatever. That's basically what I've gathered throughout the years of listening to encounters, Dogman encounters, from multiple channels, multiple Facebook groups and stuff, that they occasionally walk up. It's not like they're naturally comfortable walking on 2 feet, especially when they feel threatened, is when they really get down on all fours and run faster, because of course, like a dog, they're gonna run faster on 4 legs than 2, right? So, but that's just me. I like to look into things, but like you said, you can't really say. But
they with what you're saying, and it's something that I learned quickly. They'll get on depending, and this is what I've my experience.
I'm sorry, Ricky. Hold that thought real quick. And a good buddy of mine, Dark Woods, he said, if it was the front paws, they would be more hand-looking, like human hands, and which is true, because that's what they depict them, of having more hands, not paws, in the front. So yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead, Ricky.
Okay. Check your messenger. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
Dogman. What I've learned is Dogman tend to be on all, like you said, be on all fours more than on two legs.
Mm-hmm.
Two legs is when
They have to,
they're
yeah,
in a defensive situation.
yeah,
So
predicament. Or something, yeah.
when they stand up, it's because of your presence.
Right.
It's not
Exactly.
really because that's how they are normally.
Right.
So every time they go through,
Right, and most encounters. I'm sorry, Ricky, but to interrupt, but you've noticed most encounters all over the internet. They say I saw something come out of the woods, and then next thing you know, it stood up on two legs, on the hind legs. Like what? Like almost every encounter is like that.
right.
They think it's a dog, a big dog, and then until it gets up on its two legs, like holy shit, what the hell is that? Then they run or whatever. But
Right.
so I think that's more of a like they want to make an impression where they stand up, saying like, hey, like,
Yes,
yeah, I'm big, so you better think about what you want to do. You know what I mean? And,
right.
and intimidate you in some form or fashion, right?
Yep. That's exactly what it is. And actually, in the beginning, because the way I research things is systematically, right? I break things down.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a police officer goes to let's say an accident, and he doesn't know the person was speeding or not, but by the evidence around him, the skid marks, how far the skid marks are, how dark the skid marks are, he might get to a point where he might understand that, well, this guy must have been going so and so miles an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I learned really quickly in the beginning, many years ago, Dogman always stood up. Dogman always walked on two legs, right?
Right.
But then you would hear stories of the Dogman getting up and you'd hear bones snapping or crunching or whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've heard a lot of those stories. And then I took that situation and I broke it down, right? And what I came up with through the years, I've proven it to myself, right? Obviously, I'm not going to tell somebody to believe me and whatnot. This is stuff that I prove it to myself and how I base my research on, right? But you know how as you get older, you sit down on a chair and when you get up, your knees pop.
Right.
Or your grandfather lays down or sits down in a specific
for a long time they pop. Yeah, they do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because you accumulate liquids in the joint.
Right.
And then when you stand up, you pop that bubble, and that's when you hear the popping sounds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was an automatic thing for me when I began to study joints and whatnot. Right on Dogman, wait a minute. The only way that would pop is if they were in a prolonged position for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have meant that if they stood up and it popped, they were in four for a long period of time.
Right.
And when they stood up, it's when they popped. And all their joints pop because they're taking a different position. And then through the years, I realized that you don't hear that much popping, if at all, on pups. Because pups are always doing things.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting up on two, they're going down, regardless if you're there or not. They're always doing stuff, climbing trees.
So basically what you're saying, Ricky, is that not all of them, but most of the encounters that people say that they hear, bones popping, pop, pop, crack, 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 all this, sorry, shit, but that they think it's, some type of transformation. It's not. It's really just the joints adjusting because they've been, on four legs for so long, right?
Yeah,
maybe all day, and they just happen to stand
all
up
day,
there.
all week, all month.
Right. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
When it switches over, just like when you stand up, because you were sitting down watching Netflix all day, and your knees start popping. Your back starts popping. Mm-hmm. Well, the same thing. You don't hear that popping sounds when a pup gets up.
Right.
You don't hear that popping, and this is what made me look into that. Pups don't have that sound. You might get one or two, but in general, you really don't hear pups, younger Dogmen, having that sound to them.
Right. So it's more of a age thing.
An older Dogman, right? Or Dogman that has had has spent more time on fours. Younger and pups and juveniles do more things always. As any species, you have our kids do more things than we do, right?
Yes.
They're always jumping, running,
more active. Yeah, more active.
They're more active. So because they're always up, down, climbing, running, jumping over things, exploring their bodies, you don't have that accumulation of liquids in their joints.
Right, exactly. Yes. Hey, I want to show the next picture. Is that a different one or is that the same one, just a different angle? Okay.
Same one, just an angle.
Okay. All right. Cool. And yeah, because my buddy Tommy got to go. This is the one with the crackling sound, right?
No. This is the predator sound.
Predator sound. It goes click, 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 like clicking.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let me play that real quick. See if Tom catches that. Now, tell me, guys, if y'all hear that in the chat, because one show I was hearing everything good and everything, and then I went back and replayed it myself on YouTube, and I couldn't hear it on another account that I have. So they might not be able to hear it. Let me play that one more time. You guys tell me if y'all hear this, okay? Please. Okay, here it goes. One more time.
I think
Somebody tell me if y'all hear that. Can you hear that, Ricky? Okay, yeah. Okay, Tamara said yes, they can hear. Okay, I'm going to play it one more time. And it sounds like the Predator, guys. Check this out. Let's see if I can turn up my volume the most I can.
I hear the ding at the end.
Right. Let me play it one more time, okay, Ricky?
All
right.
I hear the ding at the end.
Yeah, that ding, bang. Oh man,
it had thrown something at us.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one of y'all, like maybe banging a spoon or something.
No, we were. This is an expedition in Wisconsin.
Okay, Darkwood says he didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were doing an expedition in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was an expedition in Wisconsin, and the recorder was a couple yards away from me, and next to us were like two sheds. So after it did that, it threw what we would assume was a pebble, and hit the shed. That several days during that time period, they would throw stuff at us, and a lot of it would hit the top of the shed and whatnot.
Right.
That sound, imagine hearing that probably, I'm going to say probably 5 to 6 times stronger, right? I heard in my property now, I have 2 valleys on both sides. There's a creek that goes through it. And I'm in my van, windows are down. I believe I was in a Zoom meeting or something, and it's dark, right? There's no lights there now, and my dogs are in their runs, their kennels, in front of me. So I heard something coming up from the creek, but we have deer, we have other things, so you don't really think of anything else coming up, right? And my dog, I have a particular dog that has shown himself to be useful and letting me know when there's a cryptid in the property.
Wow.
because he'll bark like mad when he hears them on there, even though you might think it's something else. He knows. So when he goes off, like he won't go off if it's a bird, if it's a deer, right? But if it's a cryptid, he goes buck wild. So I'm hearing this this rustling coming up from the creek, and my dog goes nuts. He goes like nuts. And that exact same noise, the predator, echoed inside the van.
Wow.
And my shoulders shrugged up, and at first I was like surprised, and then my brain said, "Wait a minute, I've heard this before. Oh, this is what the Wisconsin one." And I'm like, "Oh man, but this guy's awfully too close." Then he started hearing the like their clicking batty type sounds, and you can physically hear. It sounded like if one stopped, because you can hear it there. But then the others, and I believe there was like 2 or 3, took the long way around the kennel into the woods to the other side, and then you would have the one that stopped. Then he proceeded to go around to the other side.
Okay.
But that sound, I mean, and my property was like that recorder picked it up. I don't know what's the distance from where it picked it up from. But when you're in your van and it echoes inside your van, you're going to have a charming moment.
Yeah. No, like you said, it sounds loud as hell when it's when it's in person, right?
Oh yeah, no, that my goodness, it's like
Wow.
I said, your shoulders go up and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, Ricky. A lot of people are saying that they couldn't hear it. Hey guys, message me on Messenger after the show, and I'll gladly share them or resend them to you guys where y'all can hear them like I can. Okay, on Messenger you can hear them. I don't know why I can't do it here on my computer where you can hear them, but yeah, just message me and I'll gladly send them to y'all. Okay, so y'all can hear them. They sound pretty cool, man. The first one, it goes like, brrr, kind of like the Predator. It sounds really cool. But Ricky's saying that sounds really, really loud when they're close to you. Yeah, man. They're like, oh shit, that's crazy.
It seems like if it's a mad you're there type of scenario noise. So if they're coming towards a situation, towards an area, and they end up coming up to something that wasn't there normally, that's when they make that noise.
Right.
And like I said, I've had several times where that has happened, where that noise has been, and I've had people, eyewitnesses, call me and ask me, and when I send them that audio, they'll say the same thing. Yes, that's it, but louder.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. A couple of people were asking. They came in a little later from the introduction. They were asking what state you live in, and I was telling them that it's Tennessee now. Darkwood's saying that you used to live in Wisconsin, right? And that is true. You used to live in Wisconsin, but now you live in Tennessee.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in Tennessee now.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you on that.
No. What I was saying was that I've had, besides hearing it personally several times, eyewitnesses have called me up, people that have already talked to me before, and asked, "Hey, listen, I've heard this. It sounds like this," and I show them the audio, and that's a good thing about some of the audios that I keep behind, is that I'm able to build trust with eyewitnesses, because I'll have things that they've never heard anybody else have. And then they always say the same thing. That's it, but it's louder. Like, well, yeah, because you're close to it.
Let me play this one, Ricky. See if they can hear it. Okay, I'll play it one time, and if it doesn't, then we'll just leave that alone. We'll just show the pictures. But here it goes, guys. Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's like a howling noise on that one, right, Ricky?
It's a 2-pitch.
Right.
It'll go up, then down, then
up again. Yeah.
Then up again.
Okay. Let me play it one more time, bro, in case somebody didn't hear it. Oh man. No, somebody just said no sound. Yeah. Prime Cry said no sound. Darkwood says, okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on with my damn computer.
Well, that one wasn't amplified from my phone,
Mm-hmm.
so it was low it was low to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not come through loud enough
Right.
for them to hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna move to the pictures, bro. This one right here, it's an orb. It's the one with the orb on the bottom and the big light on top. If that's the moon, or
no. Show the other one, since you're showing that one.
Okay, that one.
That one. That's the orb, and that's the moon, and that's the moon on top.
This is the orb, guys, right here.
Yeah.
And that's the moon, of course.
Now the other picture.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that one.
The closer one. Mm-hmm.
Because it's unfocused, the orb is almost, is large. I won't say it's as large as the moon. Obviously, it's not, but it's coming up to being very large, which shows that it's closer than the actual. Obviously, it's in the woods. Now, some have asked me if there's a light back there, if there's a road back there.
Right, like a street light or something?
I live on top of a ridge, and there is nothing that way besides woods on top of woods on top of woods on top of woods.
Right.
There's not even street lights on the road that would be on the left side of that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Probably several yards away from that actual spot. And again, there's no lights on any of those back roads whatsoever.
How far do you think that was away from you, Ricky? Like, give or take.
That was, I'm not very good with distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to say if I were to say something, I'll probably say 2 school buses away.
Wow, that's pretty close.
Yeah, 2 or 3 school buses away.
School bus is only like 40, 50 feet, bro. Damn.
Yeah, there wasn't it wasn't, out in the distance.
Right. I thought it was far away, like out in the distance, maybe
No.
yards or
that
something.
sucker was right next to me.
Okay.
And what's funny about this is I noticed that orb after I took, cause this is a screenshot from a video.
Mm-hmm.
I took the orb, the video. I was in bed and the moon was so bright that it came in through the window and it kind of lit up the inside,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, cool, let me take to see if I can actually record something outside because it's so light.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the phone that way, and I pan it out, whatever. And then I put the phone down.
Mm-hmm.
But then I can't sleep, so I'm like, well, let me see if it actually caught something. And the minute I started playing it, I'm like, what in the world is this?
Right.
And the time frame between what I recorded and played it, maybe 5 minutes less, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I looked up, it wasn't there. It was gone.
Wow.
Right? It was just gone. I'm like, what in the what? And I went back to sleep, not sleep. I couldn't sleep that night, but I went back down on the bed. But that time frame, it was gone. Just gone.
Right.
And this looks familiar to one I saw in Ohio.
Okay. I was gonna say, Ricky, what would you say would be the size of that, orb? Because people, some people, they describe it like the size of a golf ball, size of a baseball, size of a softball,
well,
and some people even the size of a volleyball.
Okay, what I will say is this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did a little poll on a certain Facebook group asking how many people have physically seen an orb face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Not on a camera, not on a picture, not on a video, but actually face to face have seen an orb. And sadly, and this is a large Facebook group. It's more of a Bigfoot Facebook group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I'm gonna say about 75-80% of the people or more have never seen an orb face to face.
Okay.
They've seen pictures of a supposed orb. They've seen
But not
a
in
video,
not in real life, right?
but not in real life.
Right.
I've seen one in real life, and I will tell you it's probably the size of no bigger than a softball.
Okay.
Slightly smaller, but give or take that size, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was white in color. And I'm not saying that others might not be different colors.
Right.
I'm saying the
No,
one I
they
saw.
are. Yeah, they are. I've heard of red, blue,
Right.
purple.
But again, I'm talking about one I physically seen without a camera, like face to face.
Right.
Okay. So when you ask somebody those questions, ask them if they seen it face to face, or if it was on video or on camera or a picture. You know.
Right.
So the one I saw face to face was white, and what was strange about it was not strange and interesting was that even though it was bright, it did not illuminate nothing around it.
Oh, really?
So that's what was strange.
Okay.
I had rented a cabin with my family, and my
Okay.
mother-in-law got into the jacuzzi the first night.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all inside, and the next morning she says, "Hey, there was a guy back there with a flashlight." And I'm like, There is no guy back there. There's no roads back there. There wasn't a guy back there. So she said, "Oh, there was a guy back there with a flashlight." And I'm like, so I asked her, "How tall was he?" Well, he was right there. He was walking right there. The flashlight was towards like the height of my face while I was in the jacuzzi. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, "You do know that's a cliff down there, right? The guy had to be 8, 9, 10, 20 feet, depending on where he was standing, because there's a downhill drop." And I know what I saw, and so we pitched it off as you're nuts, lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a friend down there who I don't know if I ever talked to you about Dogman.
Yes, I was saving that, but yeah.
Okay, so I had talked to him, and he told me, well, the witch's hour or the time frame where things go weird is from this time to this time. So one night I woke up around that time, and I sat outside. And at first I thought it was a helicopter light, but then I realized it was on top of the trees. And it goes around the trees, around the cabin. This is a cabin in the woods, right?
Right.
It goes around the cabin. All of a sudden, it pops up on my left side. It was on my right side. It popped up on my left side. And it stops right in front of a tree. So I'm facing it. Literally, if I had a baseball and I would have thrown it, I would have hit it.
Wow.
Because it was that close.
It was that close. Wow.
It just stopped right there, right in front of the tree. But even though you're seeing a white light, there is no reflection on the trees.
Okay.
So you can't see the tree behind it.
Right.
Like any other light, it reflects what's around it, right?
Right.
Not with a glow, not with an orb. The orb didn't do anything. It shined on itself. Like if the energy was from the inside out, but nothing came out from the actual sphere around it. And then it just disappeared.
Wow.
Like if somebody shut off the light bulb. And obviously in my mind it was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go back to bed. And I walked my happy butt back inside the cabin and went to bed.
Yeah.
On that note.
Right. Well, I think maybe they vary because who was it? Dark Woods said that his illuminated a short distance around it. his orb that he saw.
Right.
And Primal Crab, which is his partner, his couple, I don't know how to say it, his other half. She said she has seen multiple orbs in real life as well. And like I said, yeah, that there are a couple, bro. So she's seen them, he's seen them, but he said that when he's seen that they illuminated a short distance around it. So I'm guessing there's different types, right?
Well, there's different, like, because obviously, and I don't know anybody else's experience, right? I'm talking about my experience, that I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I've looked into different possibilities and whatnot. And the Earth itself produces ball of energies that are released. Most of the times when they're released, you'll have water, a stream. The environment is wet, and it's like electrical charge. Some call it ball lightning, and the problem with that name is people refer to them as it has to be lightning for it to happen, and it doesn't. The name doesn't attribute it to it at all. Yes, when it is lightning, it can happen, either like the static electricity and whatnot, but there's nothing there. Lightning does not have to be happening. There doesn't need to be a atmospheric change or whatnot happening. Years ago, when I was looking into that stuff, there's
sweet love.
there was a program that was talking about a certain theory, because this hasn't been studied by many scientists, as such. So there's many theories on how it happens. And one theory was that in the ground you'll have minerals, copper. You'll have iron and whatnot. And when you have the stream of water has diluted sulfur, when there's mist or the proper environment, it'll create a charge and create a ball of energy.
Mm-hmm.
It'll dissipate or vanish or whatever. And some of these balls of energy have gone through homes, have gone through glass, have gone through different, structures. Some of them will go, on a straight line. Some of them will go up and down. They won't have a specific pattern.
Right.
There'll be different sizes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, I am not saying that every orb is that, because the orb that I saw wasn't that, because it was too clean in circle. It wasn't like there wasn't like a static charge around it or glowing on it.
Right.
It was just a ball of white. Now, obviously, like I said, that's been my experience.
Mm-hmm.
That happened in my property, but
right.
It's something I put in the back burner until the remaining book tells me what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Dark Wood says his orb was moving intelligently, had no arcs or energy as well. So it wasn't just floating; it was moving intelligently. And another person in the chat, his name is Duty Bird. He said an orb was chasing our dog and went around the corner of the house, hit my mom's old metal wire clothesline, and it made the wire roll up and melt when it blew through the wires. So it made it, it caused a reaction, like a burning reaction. Yeah. So, man, that's really interesting. I've never gotten this much deep into orbs, other than people telling me that they saw them and how, describing them and such. But like Al Santoriga's seen a lot of orbs. Yeah, if anybody wants to ask him. Yeah, man. But yeah, so there's got to be all types of orbs, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's we don't know what's out there and whatnot. We don't know how they come about and how they don't. We don't know. And for me, it's like it's part of a research that if I go deep into it, it will distract me from my other research.
Right.
So
Right.
like I said, I'll put it down in a little sticky note.
Yeah,
Orb
yeah,
team
yeah.
here and
Put it
there.
on the side burner. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then
just keep.
eventually you'll
Yeah.
find an answer to it and why it happens if you do, if you
Right.
don't.
Right. 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 Exactly. Yes. Man, that's cool, bro. That's awesome. Man, I've never heard so much about information on orbs, and then a lot of people in the chat too. They're saying about orbs. You know what I mean? They seen orbs and plasma balls and stuff.
Well,
God.
yeah, that's what plasma balls are like. Is like that. It's what it's. I guess you can call them that, and some of them, um, but the Earth produces a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming, and I'm not saying that I'm right? I'm just saying the possibility may be there because
Mm-hmm.
everything produces electricity, even humans, right? Humans produce electricity, animals, creatures, a lot of things produce electricity, So can a plasma ball, a ball of lightning, or one of these things be attracted to a living creature's electromagnetic fields and be following around because it's a strong electromagnetic field? Who the hell
Mm-hmm.
knows?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. See, Darkwood says the three blue orbs at Skinwalker Ranch zapped a couple of dogs into ashes and meat lumps. Wow, that's crazy, dude. So what they must have some kind of electromagnetic pulse system or something where they can electrocute a dog. That's crazy. Never heard of that, bro.
Well, I mean,
God damn.
there's so many like explanations to things when it comes to the whole plasma balls, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that like I said, unless you take a group of smart individuals and only study that, you're only left with its and pieces of it,
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody, like I said, I've never seen plasma. I mean, the orbs until was it last year? Yeah, last year, right? Spring of last year was the first time I have ever seen an orb in the field,
Mm-hmm.
right? And many people would have associated, well, those are associated with this and that. And I would tell them, man, listen, a lot of my eyewitnesses have never seen orbs, and I've never seen an orb in the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last spring was the first time I've ever seen an orb. I never saw a Bigfoot in the property, so I can't say it was associated with one or the other. You know what I'm saying? And in that property that we rented the cabin in, I think twice we've heard trees being knocked over at a distance, but
Wow.
I can't physically say that there was a Bigfoot at the same time the orb was there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, there's people who have seen an orb with a Bigfoot or at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that I have never associated an orb with a cryptid. Now, obviously,
There's
like
people that have, Ricky. There's people that have.
no. Like I said, I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
that it hasn't happened, right?
Right.
I'm not saying that, right? But it's like I myself have never associated both of the other. And the time that I saw an orb, I can't say that I've seen a Bigfoot in the area,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I can't say for sure that both are related because I can see, for instance, perfect example, right? Many crows follow wolves. So where you see a crow, out in areas where there's wolves, if you see a crow, you probably there's probably a wolf or something around because they get followed.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because wolves kill prey, and crows come after to eat. So they know it's a free meal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Does the wolf produce the crows? No. Does the crow produce the wolves? No. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see crows apart in different areas that have nothing to do with wolves? Absolutely. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But, yes, when you have areas that there's wolves, you can see crows following the pack of wolves. So, by that I mean the same thing for me is with the orb. You know, I've seen orbs where there isn't Bigfoots.
Mm.
So I can't say that one is produced by the other, or that both of them are linked to each other. I can't say that, right? Like, again, I know people have seen orbs with Bigfoots. I'm not saying that they haven't, because I know people who have, right? But the question is, for me, is can we really say one is produced by the other?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Even though they're together, is one produced by the other?
Right.
Because there's a lot of questions to it, you know? And I tend to ask all the above questions. That's probably why I get in trouble sometimes for asking so many questions. But it's part of finding the truth to everything, I guess, you know? It's by asking questions.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. I wanted to... Should we show some more pictures?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What's this next one, man? Tell me what that is right there.
That was the same time as the orb.
There it is. There it is without the marks. Yeah, and
right.
there it is without. Okay. Right. Explain to us what that is.
Okay, so this was that same night.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, the one in Ohio, I did not associate with orbs, right, at all.
Right.
The first time I ever saw an orb, there was no Bigfoots around.
Okay.
What this one is, it's the first time, and I waited until you put these pictures because I saw it on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time that I saw one with the other, but not at the same time. Mm-hmm. So meaning the orb had already left when I saw this.
Okay.
So what this is, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. The white arrows seem to be its shoulders, and the red seemed to be the head.
Okay.
I did check during the daytime. You see how there's two like grayish lines going up from one arrow and the other. Yeah. One shorter than the other. Mm-hmm. If you can put your pointer on it.
Okay.
So go up right there. Just go up.
Right there.
Up. No. Back where you were.
Right here.
Right there. Right. That's one, and then on the other side you have one shorter one. Okay. Right there. Yeah. Those are actually dead trees that are on the property.
Okay.
The distance between those two dead trees that are there is well over 4 feet.
Okay, let me show you what I see, because everybody's different. Okay, guys, you guys in the chat. Right. This is what I see, bro. Look, just because I've seen so many damn pictures and I try to make it all, I see this is more like an ear, and the other one's hidden back here in the darkness, and this is the forehead. That's one eye. That's like a snout or nose, whatever. And this is like the neck area. And I don't know what the hell this thing is. Looks like it's right in front of it. Might be an orb or might be just, I don't know, whatever. But that's what I see. I see this thing looking this way. This is the eye, view. Like this. That's what I see. But I don't know. It could be anything. It could be facing the other way. I mean, I don't know. That's just what I see. My mind captures that image. I'm trying to make, sense of it, or, direction and all that. Mm-hmm. That's what I see, like going this way. That's what I think. This is an eye. Let me blow it up for the people in the audience. See, so that looks like an eye to me, and that one might be the other eye in the darkness where you can't see because there's light. Seems like there's light coming from this angle and shining halfway, half of the face of whatever that is. See what I'm saying? And this looks like a snout, bro, because the light is hitting that, like, and this probably the bottom of the snout or something. And this is like the, like the nose area, to me. And that looks like an eye ridge right there. To me, that's just, like I said, that's just to me. Not everybody sees the same thing, but people in the chat, y'all are welcome to, put your opinion on it, right? So yeah, man. I mean, so that and you said that happened on the same night with the orb, right? So do you think that might be some type of connection to the whatever this is?
I can't say because they weren't at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, they weren't. I didn't see one and see the other the same moment. The moment I recorded the orb was probably because actually I recorded it, went back down, and then I popped my head to see the orb wasn't there. So then I wanted to see if it was like a reflection from the cell phone or whatnot, So I went and started recording again to see if it was something that the phone was reflecting or whatnot, I wanted to prove to myself that what the orb was something that I did, right? And obviously when I did it the second time, there was no orb, but that showed up.
Right. Okay.
And again, the moon was very lit. The moon, the other day, I had a picture. I went outside and literally I can see the whole road, the trees.
Because if that's a tree back there, then it looks like it's like right in front of the tree. To me, I'm just saying.
It was the
I'm just speculating. Mm-hmm.
And I say it was because during the daytime I went outside to look,
and you can see a little bit of bright, light shining off down here too.
There was a trail there.
You know what I mean? Like down here, something shining light on it. Now you can see this a whole different way. You can see these ears, big head, two eyes, one right here, snout, long snout going this way. So it just depends on how you perceive it, man. Perception.
Right.
Because I'm an artist, I draw and I can see all kinds of shit like regular people can't see. So maybe that could be a possibility, or the other way, this way could be a possibility. It's kind of like that little thing they put on sometimes where it's spinning, but you don't know if it's spinning right or if it's spinning left.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, man. That's crazy. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next.
My thumbnail.
Yeah, your thumbnail.
yeah.
Oh,
Come on.
oh man, this guy, man. Oh man, you guys, this guy played a crank on what is it?
Prank?
Yeah, prank on me. I said, hey man, can you send me a picture? He's like, for what? A picture of what? I said, for the thumbnail. He's like, sure. He sent me this picture. I'm like, God damn, dude, come on, man.
Well, you asked for it. No,
yeah. Thumbnail. Hey, what's the story? What's the backstory with this one right here?
Okay, that was nothing. Every time I send out the audio, right?
Yeah.
People try to point stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
What that background there? The phone was on Zoom.
Right.
So, but that stuff right there is like right in front of me.
So that looks like something right there, bro. That's like a black mask, but
I can guarantee you it wasn't because I was right in front of it.
So what was it, like a stump or something? I mean, because you could see a black mass.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some stumps, some trees. There's like a little area where there's like a bunch of wood laying down, which are like already kind of decayed wood. There's a
that's
little
crazy.
hole that goes into it. I don't know who's been burrowing there, but
Hey, what kind of wolf is this? That's a massive wolf. Is that a gray wolf?
yeah, that's a gray wolf.
Look at the size of the jaws, dude. How far they open up. God damn. It's crazy. Imagine having one of those, but standing up in front of you.
Yep.
God damn, that'd be crazy, man. But okay, so I did want to ask you about the story about the knife that you told me.
Oh,
Can you tell us about that
why?
story?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just want because it's intriguing to me, man. You know,
Okay, so
like how I got there.
so I have a large knife. So the people can understand. It's like a crocodile Dundee type of knife, right? And it has my initials on it. And it was a gift to me from a different researcher that would go out with me in the woods. So, anyways, there's that knife. I have it. I take it with me out and research. It's something that I have in my van. It's something that I use a lot for different things. Even if all I need is a pocket knife, that thing comes out. So 2 days prior, I was in the van and I was charging my phone, and my dogs went off, and I heard something rustling, like moving really fast from behind me. I didn't see nothing. I can only tell you what I heard, and my dog's going off, right? So, okay, whatever. So the following day, I took out my knife to cut something I was trimming. So I was cutting the wire, the cables, the string from the trimmer to a certain length or whatever, and I placed the knife. First, I placed it on a little bench next to the van.
Right.
At night, I used the same knife to open the bag of dog food.
Right.
And I placed it on the bumper of the van.
Okay.
Now,
which is how high? How high is the bumper of the van? About a foot and a half, maybe.
Probably.
If that.
Yeah. Probably give or take. I would say, probably up to my knee. Probably 18 inches. It's a so people can know it's a Dodge. It's a Dodge Mini Caravan.
Okay.
2018. So it's not an older model, right? So it's a fairly newer model. And I placed it on the bumper, not inside the van. I placed it on the bumper. And this is a big knife. It's heavy, right? So, and I left it there. I forgot about it. Went to bed. Went back inside. Whatever. Fed the dogs. Whatever. Went inside. Boom. The next day, I didn't go. No, actually, yeah. The next day, I went to work. So to leave, I have to go in reverse. Now, the minute you go in reverse, it's a big, like a semicircle, right? As you go in reverse.
Right.
The terrain already is going uneven and slightly downhill, right? When you hit the reverse. And then when you go back forward towards the entrance of the property, you're going downhill. Then there's an area where we had to fill in because it was too muddy, but it was never properly graded, with a machine, so it's a bit bumpy. And you get that, and then you go uphill, and then back to level, and then slightly back downhill and out the property you go.
Right.
Now behind the RV, there's I had done a little bonfire type thing, not big, just a little campfire, whatever. So every morning I walk out to get some, when I'm not working. Every morning I get out to get the first morning rays of the sun. So I'll walk the property without a t-shirt. Then I'll walk to the front of the property and then back to the RV, which is not a short distance, right? So as I'm walking, I see this shining thing up towards probably already 3/4 up the property on that road, and I'm walking, what the heck is that, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden on my feet, I look down and I see the charred wood on the floor.
Yeah.
Charred wood?
You're like, where'd this come from, right? Yeah.
Like, the only charred wood is back there in the RV, not up here. Like, okay, so my brain went quickly. Well, some idiot started bringing my charred wood up to, up the road, didn't like it, and threw it out.
Right.
So I keep walking. So now I'm walking uphill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking uphill, and I come up to my knife. My knife was stabbed into a tree.
Wow.
Probably half an inch deep, probably, I don't know, give or take. And now I'm scratching my head, right? Because there's no way in hell, in my mind, and I put it back in the bumper and tried it. Mm-hmm. There's no way in hell that knife fell
from the bumper and landed all the way to the tree. Yeah.
In that spot, right? In that spot, the way it did. The knife fell once I turned around on that semicircle.
Mm.
That's where the knife fell. Because the bumper ain't thick, right? And the knife is heavy. And once it puts... Actually, to tell you the truth, I had to place the knife on the bumper several times so it wouldn't fall off.
Right.
And this is quite a distance from where the van is parked. And this did not fall all the way up there, 3/4 down the property, going through lumps and bumps, uphill and downhills, to fall stabbed into a dry piece of wood. Because it wasn't a new piece of wood, it was a dry piece of wood, which makes it harder. And the first thing in my brain was, well, that shows me to leave knives out when there's Christians.
Yeah. I wonder if one of them might have, mischievously, took it from you and placed it, in the tree or down by the road.
They had to.
Yeah.
They had to. I mean, there's nothing. My property from the road, you can't. You only see woods. And if you're coming from a certain direction, you won't even see the mailbox.
Holy shit! So there's no neighbors around where you live right now. Like, there's no neighbors for miles.
No, the closest neighbor is a mile down the road.
Holy crap!
Everything else is woods.
And you're walking through little trails and roads, man, by yourself out there, bro.
Come on, man.
Man,
as my mom used to tell me, why were you born male?
God.
En Latin, ¿para qué naciste macho?
Yeah. No, that's crazy, bro. I couldn't do it.
So there's so you really can't see my property, so people don't go there, even if it is to, let's say, snoop around.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I have 2 dogs that don't like people. And they'll start barking the minute you get to where the knife is, which is far down the road.
And tell everybody how big that knife was, because you showed me the picture, but
probably 12 inches long.
About 12 inches, right?
12 inches long.
And I remember it looked like the knife that Crocodile Dundee had. Not as big, but the same type.
Yeah.
With the wooden handle and the little marble on the ends and the thing that stops your hand.
Yeah.
And the big blade that starts off straight and it curves and it points up a little bit, like kind of what I mean, like kind of like a Rambo knife, but more of a Crocodile Dundee knife. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. So it's pretty big. 12 inches, man. That's a whole foot, bro. I mean, that's heavy for a knife. You know what I mean? It can't just fall and accidentally, go slam into a tree, bro. There's no way. You know what I mean?
So like I said, man, that's like that tells me not to leave knives when there's cryptids around.
It's actually this one. This is the video, bro, that you showed me where the knife was. But they can't hear anything. I'm gonna play it anyway, but they can't hear it. It's right here, and it shows the knife. Just to show the knife for reference.
Go forward on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go forward. Let me show everybody. That's the damn road he has in his property, and there's nothing but woods for like miles, and he's just walking it nonchalantly like nothing's going on. That's crazy, bro. Let me turn the volume down because they can't even hear, bro. But look, that's the road. Look.
All that distance, that knife did not fall off.
All the way over here, right? You said.
Yeah, no.
That's where the what is it called? The mailbox. Yeah. All that distance.
The charred wood.
And that's the charred wood that you yeah. And then the knife. That way they can see the knife, bro.
Keep going forward.
They can't hear, but they're gonna see the knife. I'm like, that's not a knife. This is a knife. So it's a huge knife, dude. Look. You see it right there? I just went back a little bit. Yeah.
No, you went back to the beginning.
No. Right there. It's gonna show. Look. I just went back just a little bit, so you can. Right there. See, there's a knife. There's the Crocodile D knife. See? And he took that off of the tree, but it was on the tree. He took that bark off of there, but yeah. That's a huge knife, bro. And look how deep it is in there. Yeah, I had told Ricky, you don't think it might have, swung out of your van or something? You were going pretty fast. They're like, no, bro, you can't go that fast in that little trail. So it didn't swing, and even if it fell off a couple of feet or whatever, it's not going to swing hard enough to go stab into a tree. You got to have force to stab that big knife into a tree. Right, Ricky?
Yeah, it's a drier. It was a drier tree.
Yeah.
So it's not a live tree. It's wet. It's moist, so something can stick into it better.
Right.
When it's dried out, it's harder.
Right.
And this thing was stuck into it. I mean, I'm like I said, my first mind was okay. Don't leave shit like this around. You have.
Yeah, Darkwood says looks like a carbon steel buck knife style. And Rock said it's a Rambo knife. Yeah, it looks like a Rambo knife. It's a big knife. But yeah, man. Hey, so going back to Dogman, bro. Have you been to Dogmantopia lately?
Lately, no. I'm dying to go back. There is, and this is where I'm asking Paul to come to Tennessee. Mm-hmm. There's a great possibility that the area that I want Paul to go with me is another Dogmantopia.
Oh, it's another one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, Dogmantopia, for those that are listening...
Yeah, that they don't know from the first...
Right,
yeah.
Is a place where Dogman and Sasquatch run around the streets, and the place is like if they own the area
freely. Tell them why they run freely, because that time of the season, what happens?
Well, there's a time of the season where nobody's there. It's a private area, so people come there for vacation and whatnot. Many people there own that area, their little lot. Mm-hmm. But when they leave for winter, there's nothing there. So they've just come used to running the areas and being by themselves there and whatnot. So in the springtime, summertime, when there's more people, they're still there, but you don't see them as much versus wintertime.
Right. So the wintertime is when they mainly come out, right?
Right.
Freely.
Or I was there in springtime, and that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Again, we've known Dogman to have balls, right, and come out in places and whatnot. But
cities and stuff, yeah.
Right. But this is an area where, okay, so the audience can understand how Dogmantopia is. This was spring. late spring. I think it was first week of June.
Mm-hmm.
But probably, I don't know, summer, or I don't know when summer arrives, but it was the first week of June, and so it was already warm. People were already coming to the areas, and so I went there with the eyewitness at nighttime. It was around 12:30. We talked a bit, and as we're talking, I kid you not, they had to be probably about 25 feet from me. I'm looking, and I looked at the eyewitness, and I said, "Was that a hump that just rolled past that way?"
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? I just swore I just saw a hump of something run that way. So he said, probably. And we were seeing, then later on, we were seeing something like right next to us.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say right next to us, I mean, you can throw a ball and hit it.
Mm.
It was peeking out of one of the cabins. And I'm like, are you serious? But nothing again. We don't see nothing. You don't. So your brain is telling you, I'm not seeing this, right?
Right.
And so he tells me, well, you want to go take a walk down the road? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go. So on the street that we were in was the only street that had like street lights.
Mm-hmm.
The other streets had like lights in the cabins that illuminated out, but the one that we were on had an actual street light. So we started walking down, and you can hear something paralleling us from the side. But again, I'm like, okay, whatever, let's keep going. He's telling me, well, there's something here, but I'm kind of hearing it, kind of not, so I'm not really paying attention. So we get to the end of the road, and we stop. We were talking, and I start hearing this click, click, click. And the first thing I told him was, "Are you shitting me right now?" He goes, "Why?" Mm-hmm. "Are those the nail clicking on the floor?" But then he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, the dude's right there in the damn driveway. Like he's walking around the driveway, and I'm like, "Yep."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So, and clickings can be different things, but every scenario is different. You can get clickings from the mouth. You can have different clicks are different things. The one we were hearing was its nails clicking on the floor, just like a dog with long nails. Their nails click on the concrete or on the tile when they walks. That's what we were hearing. And so we started walking back, and again, this thing is paralleling us now on my other side. And we got to the top of the hill, and I'm talking to the guy. Now we're facing each other, not facing where we came from, right? So where we came from is now to my right hand, right? And obviously his left hand. So we were facing each other. I kind of turned sideways a little bit, facing that way, because I kept on hearing something out in the distance. So I'm slightly turned towards where we came from, but not turned completely. And all of a sudden, he's talking, and my mouth just dropped. And I'm like, stop talking. And I'm like, okay, what? The guy goes, what? And he turns to look. Mm-hmm. And all I told him was, a Dogman just walked out of the darkness into our road, walked a couple of steps, looked at us, and then walked back into the darkness. So he starts looking to see if he sees it, and sure enough, he sees it up the road a little bit, on the light from a different cabin. And in my brain, I said that I kept on telling him, "Are you kidding me right now? Are you serious? This is how bold they are." Like, they own the place. Mm-hmm. And that's Dogmantopia. That's how I called it. Dogmantopia from the cartoon Cats.
Yeah.
My kid used to watch that cartoon. So that's where I got it from.
Yeah, it makes sense. What's the original name of that cartoon? I can't remember, by the way.
Cats.
Cats? Oh,
Cats.
Okay.
The mom died, and the father said that the mom had gone to Catopia or something like that. So I call it Dogmantopia because it's like if you ever want to see, video record, or take a thermal image that'd be the place to go. Problem is, it's a private area, so unless you know somebody there, you can't just walk in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you, bro, from Shane from West Coast Dogman Project. He says, Brohana, that's what he called me. He says, can you ask Ricky's research with Rusty Coleman Jr. went? I know Rusty was having Dogman activity around his house in Tennessee.
That's the area that I'm making the plans for Paul to come in down.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I
that's where you want to have your expedition with Paul and.
No. It won't be an expedition. That's just me and Paul taking 2 or 3 days.
Oh, okay. Just researching.
To research it day and night, and be there a couple of days.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
That's the area that I wanted Paul to come down with me.
Okay.
I've been there already, more than once, and I can tell you that yes, there is Dogman there, but I want to be able to be there constantly for at least 3 days, to be able to get more info.
I'm sorry. When are y'all thinking of making that happen, Ricky?
Again, I'm trying to coincide it with my job. I know Paul told me that his schedule can be open as long as I tell him, whatever. But I'm a supervisor where I work, so I have to coordinate with my other supervisors, and
that you're gonna leave. You're gonna be on leave for a couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to square that off now. Because obviously I don't need the eyewitness, Rusty, to be with us, right? I just need myself to have, okay, these days I got to do this, and hey, Paul, we got these days, It's just that right now it just happens, right, that like on this, I have 6 days off this week.
Well, the reason I'm asking, Ricky, is because, like many people mention on many other shows, that the highest activity starts in September, October-ish for Dogman and I don't know about Bigfoot, but at least Dogman, that's when it starts, like in the winter months. Like starts like in October, November, December, January, I think all the way to February. That's when it's like the most active sightings and encounters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was asking you, like, when you had it planned to go with Paul, like in those months of the winter time, or.
Well, okay, the activities. It depends. That's dependent on the area. If there's an area where it's their living quarters, they're the area where they live, they'll be there year round.
Okay.
What my research has
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because there are some areas that are not hot spots. They only travel through there because they're migrating. I've heard. Right.
Well, what I've learned, and this was learned in Illinois, right? And then through the years, as you begin to talk and realize and research and look through the same patterns, is this. And this is why many have sightings or they get messed with Dogman, right?
Right.
A Dogman will have pups at a close to a home, right? So
or a den.
Their den will be close to a home.
Okay.
So when that happens, when there's a change in the environment, which I've talked to this before, when there's a change in the environment, that change can be anything from arguments to, like for instance, a bad divorce or husband and wife having whatever discussions, arguments, kids having bad parties, whatever it might be. A change in the environment. That change in the environment can even be as simple as a property that has not been lived in for a couple of months, and a person buys it and moves into there, right? We all know that when you buy a new property, you're going to want to paint it. You're probably renovating something. You're going to have trucks coming in with your furniture. There's a lot of movement going on, right?
Right.
So that interrupts the environment.
Right.
When it interrupts the environment, the dogman comes in because now he's trying to figure out what's going on. I've been here for so long. I've had my pups here for so long. What's going on? Once the eyewitness sees the dogman, it freaks out. The eyewitness freaks out, and what happens after will dictate how the dogman responds to their reaction. So if an eyewitness acts violent, the dogman will act violent. If the dogman, the eyewitness becomes, let's say, neutral, then normally it'll just go back to whatever it was doing.
Right.
So once the pups are old enough to travel, then they will move to whatever grounds they have where are abundant in food.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So your time of travel is fall.
Oh.
Hence why you see a lot of sightings during that time frame, right?
Mm-hmm.
The time of pups, which this is not a guarantee, but based on research, is somewhere during that time frame that you mentioned.
Right.
So you'll have pups in during a time frame. Some eyewitnesses will catch. A lot of eyewitnesses that have difficulties will eventually see a pup, right? After, during, or whatever. And then when they move out to higher ground, not higher ground, but a place where there's more food, because now the pups are bigger.
Right.
And then you'll see that movement, that travel.
So when they have them, they try to keep them more of in a safe haven, like a safe spot away from other bigger predators.
That's why they tend to have them close to homes.
Right. Oh, okay. And then when they grow up, that's when they can take them to the rougher terrains where there's more food.
Mm-hmm.
And larger predators as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's where the increase of sightings comes in. It's fall and up until spring. When summertime you don't see much activity, right? Because they're basically they're guarding the juveniles. The juveniles are being scolded left and right for wanting to be juveniles. You know, and I'm saying that in a funny way, right?
Right.
They're not babies where they just stay like near their moms all the time. They want to explore, so they're you will have sightings, but the main sightings that you'll have are when that movement takes place. Because now you'll have whole clans, mom, dad, 2 or 3 pups, moving, versus just being in one spot.
Right. Hey, Ricky, I have a question for you for continue. It's from Darkwoods. He says, has Ricardo ever heard metallic sounds or metal ripping in the woods? Good question, by the way. Darkwoods, thank you, man.
I heard, which was, it was a growl, but it sounded like, take your cell phone, put it on vibrate, and put it on top of a metal table. Metal aluminum table. You know those thick aluminum tables, like for soldering, for welding or whatever? Those big ass tables that are like metal.
Yeah.
Put your cell phone on top of that and hit the vibrator. So imagine hearing that in the woods.
Oh, that's pretty creepy, man.
Trust me. And then imagine hearing that right next to you, where you start creeping out because you're turning around in circles because, damn it, it's right next to me. Where the hell is it?
Yeah.
And then when you walk out of the area, because now you're like, okay, fine. I can't see you. I don't know where you're at. Keep doing it, but I ain't running. Right? So you nonchalantly start walking out. And then when you get out to the exit, they whistle at you. And yes, Dogman do whistle.
What?
Bigfoot as well.
What?
So
I know
he
they
has,
mimic other animals, but never heard
oh
of
no,
whistling, bro.
they mimic people too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Holy shit!
We had one, which is kind of funny, right? We had a lady in Wisconsin
Mm-hmm.
that one of the juveniles would mimic her nickname. It was a short nickname,
Mm-hmm.
and it was saying out in the woods, which would cause her to freak the shit out because thought she was hearing voices,
Yeah,
and it was just it saying her
mimicking.
name because they hear and they mimic and they're very smart, you know. So they associate things very quickly.
But wouldn't that give them the vocals to imitate a person though? Like
No, no,
calling out
no.
the name or
Well, it's like a bird, a parrot, a bird, a
oh
crow.
yeah or a
A crow
parrot.
can a crow can mimic vocals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, crows can mimic vocals very well.
Wow. I only
Blue
knew
jays.
I only knew about parrots. Parrots do
No,
they?
no, 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 no. Crows can mimic vocals very well. Blue jays will sound like a red-tailed hawk to confuse other
Oh
birds of prey.
yeah. Oh okay. Wow, that's smart, dude. To imitate another bird
Yeah.
to confuse it. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. Cool.
So it's nothing. It's not. There's nothing out of the norm
Mm-hmm.
from what already happens in nature.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's just.
Hey, Dark Woods was saying that the sound Ricardo heard about the sound. What? That sound Ricardo talked about is the sound of a portal opening. The metal clanking noise that you heard.
Well, I've talked to another researcher and he's heard the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a growl.
Mm. This sounds metally.
Yeah, it sounds mentally.
Mm.
It's just them not being easy with your presence, so they start growling.
You know, you know, when you said medley, you guys were talking about medley. There's people that said that they've actually heard. I heard many encounters about like that. That they heard when a Dogman growls, it sounds exactly like the one from what is it called? Shit, I kind of blanked out right now. Lost track of thought. American Werewolf in London, bro. Exactly like that. You know how it sounds like kind of hollowish, kind of raspy, kind of metalish at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's
But I don't know how true that is. I don't know if they just get that from reference to the movie, or does it really sound like that? You know?
okay. The problem, I mean, what I can tell you is right that each individual
Mm-hmm.
it has a different voice box, right?
Yeah.
And every Dogman at one time or the other is going to be a pup. It's going to be a juvenile. It's going to be an adult. It's going to be an old fart,
Mm-hmm.
right? For every age, you'll have different vocalizations. Like, for instance, if you have a juvenile that's kind of howling, he might howl somewhat like a coyote, but with a higher pitch, right? Versus an adult might have a different, tone to it, deeper, whatever. As they get heavier, they will sound different than when they weren't too so heavy. So there isn't a, like, even in lions or in tigers, right? They'll have different pitches
Mm-hmm.
that will mean different things. And within those pitches, it sounds different, even though it might be a growl.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's going to be different sounds. Part of my research is to try to figure out what sounds means what. And I do that by analyzing what happened before, what happened during, and what happened after.
Right.
But I have heard different types of growls, but you can always tell that canine cat type sound behind it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Versus the Bigfoot. Now, obviously, Bigfoot can mimic too, so I'm not saying that Bigfoot couldn't growl or howl like a Dogman, just to for the sake of doing it. Because I'm pretty sure that they've done it. But they have that more canine cat sound behind it. That you can always tell that, wait a minute, this ain't human type or like Bigfoot type. It's more animalistic, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It's just different.
Right.
Regardless of where you're at, regardless of the individual or age, you can listen to a vocalization, at least for me, right? Because I've been out there long enough. At least for me, I can listen and say, let me go look at this. Because that didn't sound quite right,
Right. Darkwood's also saying that many people heard metallic sounds and seen Bigfoot and Dogman come out of portals when they hear that sound.
Oh, that's like I said. I'm not saying that they haven't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they haven't. But what I am saying is that as I talk to the researchers around me, every researcher has their individuals they talk to, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's related to a growl. Again, I don't know Darkwood's situation or what he's heard or whatnot, right? I'm just talking about me, myself.
Mm-hmm. You should link up with Darkwoods, man. He does a lot of research himself. And I actually Steven Siegel actually interviewed him. I'm gonna say about 2 months ago, something like that. Maybe 3. I don't know. But if you want to look it up, Ricardo, he's in my channel as Darkwoods interview, Steven, aka Steven Siegel. I mean, if you want to check it out or contact him, Steven Siegel.
Mm-hmm.
It almost sounds like Steven Seagal, but it's not. It's Steven Siegel. Siegel like the bird, like the bird in the sea. Siegel.
Right.
Exactly like that. So if you want to contact him, man, and maybe I can have a little, good little talk, man, and on, comparing, evidence and theories. He said the metal ripping sound is massive energy required to open a hole in our reality. Just like lightning has massive energy to spread air molecules, then close to create the thunder. Wow, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, bro. So yeah, I mean, let me ask you a little bit off topic of that what we were talking about. Still on the track of Dogman. I know you help a lot of people, right? That's your main thing. Mm-hmm. Some people call you the Dogman Whisperer. You don't like that title, but I know you don't. But you're that good to help people with their Dogman, encounters or troubles or just Dogman, just hanging out on people's properties and they want to get rid of them, and you help them with that. So that being said, have you helped any new people this year? Because since the last time we talked was a year ago, have you had any new people that you've helped, bro?
Yes. There's been several. Actually, this past, I want to say that this year that we haven't talked, or since then, I've come to realize certain things when people associate Dogman with demonic entities, and a lot of several people that have had encounters in the property were having issues with one and the other, and in every case, there was the person realized that both of them weren't the same. And what happens is, and this will probably be new to some people, right? What happens is the person already has, I'm going to use the word bad mumbo jumbo in the house. Right?
Oh, shit. That's not good.
Right? They already have, stuff happening in the house.
Right.
Whatever it might be, right? Voices, things falling out, or whatever.
Right.
Right? A certain person likes to deal in certain things, that attracts these things. A person's life, they like certain things, and they might not be into, the dark side of it, but they like certain things which attracts these things.
Can I ask you, is that Satanism?
Well, no, not necessarily, but it's like they like to watch a lot of movies and a lot of things that deal with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's what they like to watch.
So
right?
it's a lot of negativity, basically.
Right. So what happens is when they are beginning to have these situations, these problems, the Dogman comes in. The Dogman comes in not because of the problem, because of the evil. It comes in because you're having a problem with your wife, your girlfriend. You're having a problem with your kids or whatever, right? Whatever the problem might be, which may be or may have started because of seeing things in the property or things falling over or whatever, right?
Let me pause you right there real quick, bro. Real quick. Remember your what you're talking about. Just real quick. I spoke to a lady not too long ago, eyewitness, that she said that she had that problem, bro. That when someone would fight in their house, that these things would come knocking at their windows and their roofs and all this shit, like telling them to, basically stop their shit, basically. So I'm like, what? Are you serious? She's like, yeah, every time we would fight or yell at each other or somebody, cussing or somebody, physically, pushing each other, fighting, whatever, like that type of negativity, it would come. She didn't know what it was, but she was assuming it was some type of cryptid or some shit. She said it would come and bang on their walls, boom, 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 bang on their windows, bang on their roof, like crazy. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, it makes sense because, like you're saying about the negativism.
What happens is if they have pups, right, around, if they have, remember, if they're living next to your house, chances are there's a den nearby.
Right.
And if they have pups, now you have become a threat. Because of the fights of the whatever, right? Whatever might happen, whatever it is that is happening, right? So obviously the cryptid, the Dogman, is going to come into the property and pretty much what he's saying is that knock it off. I'm scared for my family. What's up with you? Once you stop, then they feel safe again. They go back to their den.
Okay, so they're basically saying, stop your shit because you're bringing this type of energy to my children.
Well, no, not energy.
Well, because it's negative energy when somebody...
But it's not the negative energy. What it is remember, if I am living next to if I come to you, right? Let's say you're living at your house, right? In this case, you are the Dogman. Right? And your next door neighbor begins yelling, screaming, bitching, and whatnot. Right? And you have kids in your house. Wouldn't you go to your neighbor and try to figure out what's going on?
Or tell them to keep it down, yeah.
Right. Wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
That's the same thing the Dogman does. Why? Because you feel threatened. Your safety for your kids goes up.
Wow.
Because now this that has never happened before is going on, and I got kids. Like, listen, I don't care what happens to you guys, but this throwing shit and this and this, I got kids nearby. You know what I'm saying?
But see, you just opened a whole nother rabbit hole right there, because now we got to look into how Dogman or Bigfoot or both have feelings and emotions.
No. But you're going towards the human side
Right.
aspect, right? The
Right.
anthropomorphism.
Mm-hmm.
Every living creature is the same way. If I see a mama bear, right, several yards from me, and I stay still, is that mama bear going to attack me?
No.
Now, if I start screaming and yelling and throwing fists,
Raising your arms and
right, what's going to happen?
Yeah, you're going to attract attention to her.
Attention, she's going to charge.
Yeah, she's going to see you as a threat.
Right, it has nothing to do with emotions. It's instinct of protection. Right, every living creature has an instinct of protection when it has pups around.
Mm-hmm.
So if I chose your area to build a den, and I am in your area, that means for a long time and for a while, I knew your place, this area was safe. That's why I built the den here in the first place.
Right.
So all of a sudden things change, right? You begin to, you're getting a divorce with your wife, and you guys are screaming, bitching, and hitting each other and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got pups. Like, listen, dudes, knock it off. Because now you become a threat to my pups. Just the way I become a threat to a mama bear for screaming and hooting and hollering next to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The same way you will go to your neighbor and say, hey, listen, I got, my kids are listening to this, and you guys, whatever, however you want to put it around.
Mm-hmm.
But we all do it. Every living creature does it for the safety of their family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It has nothing to do with human emotions. It has just, when it comes to Dogman, it has to do with instincts that are in every living creature. Right? So with your lady, that's logical. That's what happens. Once you stop, and this what you're saying is your typical scenario, right? With mostly every single encounter that I've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Once you stop the activity, the Dogman goes back to being quiet. The problem is that the people that call me up and that I have worked with haven't figured out the reason for what's happening, so the activity is prolonged. Then when I come in, I figure it out, and I say, okay, well, this is happening. You got to stop this and this and this. And once it stops, like you just said, they go back out to the woods, and they leave the person alone.
Right.
Okay. So, see, now I lost the
track.
what I was saying before.
Yeah, well, see, that's what Dark Woods is agreeing with that too. He says the Dogman is an apex predator. I don't think what we do short of shooting guns affects them. I know emotions they may not like, they may not like that are negative from my experience.
Well,
so he's went through that too.
One thing that he said, I don't think, so I'm reading it right now, I don't think that what we do short of shooting guns off affects them.
Mm-hmm.
It will affect them if their den is next to your house.
Oh.
Whatever you do, right, that is disrupts the environment that they've had or have seen in that area. if that has been disrupted, rather it be by what we do, it could be simple as your kid got a new go-kart,
right,
and he's roaring through the woods now. He's never done that, but now he has a new go-kart and he's roaring through the woods. Mm-hmm. That will bother them because that go-kart was never there in the years that they've been
before.
There.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Now going back to the lady that the one you were telling me before I interrupted you.
Yeah.
You were saying about her.
Okay. So
right.
She was the couple were having problems because of the negative energy, right? Mm. They were arguing more, whatever. Now, putting the negative energy away, now you have a dog man that's seeing the argument, just like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's coming to figure out, hey, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
So that stresses out the family even more, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now the evil forces say, oh, that scares you. Oh, okay. So they begin to synchronize their activity with the dogman activity. And what you get is a person who feels that they're both in the same.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When in reality, the dogman is there because of you. The evil forces are there because of you. You're responding to the evil forces, right, in a negative way, has triggered that over there. And when the couple, because it was a couple, called me up, asked me, they had already gone to somebody else, and I was listening to them, and I'm like, okay, stop what you're doing. And I told them straight out, right? And people who know me from, right? Told them straight out, listen, I don't deal with that evil forces and shit and stuff like that, right? That's not my gig. I don't deal with that. I don't meddle with that. However you're gonna get rid of that in your house, I don't know. What I can tell you are the two different things. I can help you to get the dogman to stop. Once we went through a protocol of what to do and how to respond, they still had problems with whatever they had in their house. The dogman left.
Oh, so you helped her get rid of the dogman, not her problems.
Well, right? No, her problems are her
Basically.
problems.
Right.
You know? I mean, how you deal with the problems is one thing. That's up to you. I don't deal with that stuff. I don't even touch it.
Yeah.
You know? But her dogman left. We have another lady that I got the guy, like, her friend called me up. This lady was about to, she had contacted some, I don't know who it was. I don't even know if she's even in the cryptic community. But this spirit medium lady, whatever, gave her this prayer and chant to give to stop the werewolf. And the guy called me up, and he's trying to, but we already been doing this and this, and she's gonna do this, like it was a good thing, right? And I time out. What So we spent probably a whole day and a half talking, and after we talked, I said, well, first of all, what you're gonna do is not do the prayer, because if you do the prayer, bad shit's gonna happen, and now the dogman is gonna act stupid because you're acting stupid because of the bad shit.
Wow.
Okay, so I said, knock off the prayer. You're not doing the prayer. What you are gonna do is stop doing this, this, and this. And I have a whole text, which I can send you later on, of the guy thanking me. The problem was fixed.
Wow.
Because it wasn't anything else. It was just the lady moved into a new area, and she was young and stupid. So you move into a new area, now you're acting, she was like, I guess she was drinking and having parties and smoking weed. So that was pissing off.
Hey, Ricky, did you ever talk to Todd T? I think I asked you to talk to him, right? Yeah, you did. Okay. Did you help him out?
Well, we talked. I mean, he the other day was the one.
I helped him out like I could. I told him to put up floodlights. I told him to put up cameras. They'll stay away from that, right? But I mean, I don't know. That's all I could think of. You know what I mean? But
well, no, we like I said, when we talked, I explained some things that made sense to him. I explained some things that clicked in his mind.
Because he was having activity in his property now.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
I explained how and why some things may or may not happen. So yeah, no, we talked. I think it was like probably 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
The last time we talked to each other on the phone. But like I said, I explained some things, some behavioral aspects, and why this or that, and based on my experience, what I've had, because what people, my experience is not just my experience. I've had my own experiences, right? But my experiences have not just been in one section of Wisconsin. Something that I've done, and something that when you're studying animals, or I don't want to use the word animals, but when normal people study animals, they don't just study something in captivity or in a certain spot. They go around the world to see different behaviors and different things. And that's basically what I've done with Dogman. I've gone to different states throughout the United States to see what's kind of genetics and what's environmental, and I've seen Dogman from Arizona to New Mexico, to Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? So I've been around doing research. So the information that I've collected has been through different states on my own, on top of the multiple information that we collect from eyewitnesses throughout the United States, in states that I have not set foot on, right? So all this data fills in the gaps and the puzzles, and you get a better understanding of why the thing, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's when Todd asked me, and I was telling him, why things may happen, or what may be the thought process behind it, or what may be the thought process of certain things, I think he understood very well. Okay, I get it. Yeah, this and this happened. Yeah, okay, and which is normal. Every single person has ever called me on the phone with a situation, and when I begin to talk to them and explain things, it kind of clicks, of why something may or may not happen.
Right, exactly.
Because they've probably heard it, in their own case, seen it. Oh yeah, this happened last time. Oh yeah, this happened the other day, or whatnot. But it's just talking to the person, asking questions. Every case is different, because a dogman can come to your property for multiple reasons. A dogman can come to your property because you shot at it. The dogman can come to your property because you were at a certain spot at a different time frame. A dogman can come to your property because you interrupted a hunt.
Right.
It can be multiple reasons, and every response will be different. Like, dogmen don't like changes, right? So some encounters that I've talked with people is simply a change of time. Believe it or not, a simple change of time. Meaning, let's say, this is an example, right? If you go on a jog through the woods at 5 o'clock every day, right?
Right.
Every day you go on a jog. Every day at 5 o'clock you go into those woods, your backwoods, and you jog through the woods. There's a trail there, whatever. And every day at 5 o'clock you do that jog. Today, for some apparent reason, you came home at 3 and you decided to go on your jog at 4. You're going to have a dogman encounter.
Oh, just by the time.
Simply because you're off by an hour. Because they've synchronized their activity based on you're going out on a jog at 5.
Oh, okay. I got
now, you threw them off. And to them,
went at a different time. Yeah.
What the hell happened here? What's going on? And you will have an encounter. They will follow you and back home to see what's different.
Right.
And many encounters that I've talked to eyewitnesses, that's exactly why they had the encounter. We had a mom and daughter who went and visit grandma, and this is an actual situation. Went to visit grandma like an hour or half an hour or 45 minutes early, right, from their normal time frame. And when they came back, the daughter was in the swing at the house, and there was a dogman nearby. They had a dogman encounter. Oh, wow. And one of the questions, because people ask, well, why this and that, and through the years, you end up asking the question, is like, what time do you normally go to grandma's house? Oh, this time. And what time did you go this time? Oh, this time. Because
different.
this is this. Oh, bingo. You know? And you actually, and the thing is, some people might ask me, well, how do you know that's it? Because if I ask 100 people and 100 people tell me the same thing, then you know that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because every time you ask the same question, you get the same answer.
Right.
You know,
yeah, that makes sense.
And many people, for instance, we had another guy that I worked with that his father shot at a dog, at a cryptid, right? It was dark, so I won't say Dogman, right? But chances are it was a Dogman. Shot at the cryptid to get him off his son. Now, when I say off his son, the cryptid was just near or right in front of his son. And this is an older man. I mean, the father's an older man, but what I'm saying is his son wasn't in his teens. You know, he's probably in his early 30s, right? But anyways, probably a month later or something like that, give or take, the cryptid came back to the property. And the son goes outside with a gun and tries to follow the cryptid around the property, you know, around the cabin. Apparently the cryptid got on the roof or something, came from behind him, and smacked him, causing him to get scratched and need to get stitches. Right? But the cryptid went and he grabbed the gun and broke it. He smashed it against the cabin. Right? So the big question is, why didn't he kill me? Right? Because he hit me, he cut me, because the problem wasn't you, it was the gun. And you say, well, how do you get to that conclusion? Very simple. If I have the opportunity to kill you, and I don't, but then I backtrack and grab the gun and smash it, that means that my brain is focused on the gun, not on you.
Right.
Same thing with an encounter that happened. The Dogman, the whole story was focused on the Dogman was aggressive, right? And it went after the eyewitness. But then the Dogman supposedly left, but in the morning, the go-kart or something was smashed, right? It was bent up, smashed. Well, why would any living creature if I'm after you, right? Why would I go and smash a non-living object, right? I want to get back at you or whatever. I might go after you, probably your wife, your kid, or whatever, right? Because living things are what causing me the problem. So I'm going to go after you guys. But why would I go after something that's stashed somewhere else? If that living animal goes after something else, by logic, it's because that something else is what's causing him the problem.
Right.
So if it left you alone, it's chasing you, yes, because you were always on it, right? But that night, it chased you, it couldn't catch you, but instead of coming in through the screen door, it kind of left, and then in the morning, you saw your go-kart smashed to pieces.
Right.
Then your logic has to tell you that its problem was with the go-kart, because after the go-kart was smashed and you never rode it back in the woods, it never bothered you again.
You know, now that you just mentioned something that the guy was chasing him and he didn't catch you is because of whatever reason, but you know, a lot of times when I hear that in the encounters that a Dogman is chasing him and they let him get away, I'm sorry, but I can't believe that. You know, I cannot believe that. Like how can I put this politely? I perceive that as a lie. That they let him get away, that they didn't catch him, because how fast they run is like you can't outrun them. Not even in. I'm gonna say if you get a 20-30 yard head start, you're not gonna outrun them, bro. I mean, but now the thing is, yeah, they can. let you go if they want to. That's their will. They just try to scare you and kind of, run after you for a little bit and then just stop because you're scared to death already as it is. Yeah, I can believe that. But if he wants to get you and he's chasing you, he's gonna get you, bro. I mean,
oh yeah, that's
just,
if a Dogman wants to kill you,
yeah,
he's
good.
going to kill you.
Yeah.
But when you look at behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
What behavior do animals chase after you but don't catch you?
Right.
The behavior is called defense. Okay, so if a dog is defensive, right?
Oh, he's just gonna chase you and turn right back around,
right.
not chase you all the way.
Once it reaches his threshold
goal
of his family
of getting you away, then it'll
he
turn
goes
around.
back.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
that's called a defensive reaction.
Defensive reaction. Okay.
So, which defense comes into the all-encompassing fear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so fear produces defense, and it produces aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because you're afraid of being attacked, so you're going to attack first. You're afraid of being hurt, so you're going to attack. You're afraid your kids are going to get hurt, so you're going to attack.
Okay.
Defense is the same thing. It's still based on fear, right? But fear produces defense. The fear of something getting stolen from them. The fear of you invading my property.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So aggression is you going forward and acting against something because of that fear, and defense is you retaliating because you already in there. Right. So a Dogman doesn't chase you from your property. The Dogman will chase you when you walk into the woods into their property.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I believe that. Yeah.
So that's why people quote unquote get away, is because it wasn't really wanting to kill you. It just wanted you out.
Okay. Yeah, because I've heard encounters where they're like right behind them, like a couple steps back, and and they hear they're stomping their feet and whatever, and then all of a sudden they just get to wherever they want to get or whatever, or they just close their eyes and they open their eyes and it's gone. They turn around and I'm like, come on, man, that doesn't sound believable, But
well, what happened?
It could happen.
No,
like you're saying.
you
know what I mean?
No, I'm going to explain something, right? I'm going to explain something that maybe you would understand why that may be possible. Right? I use the word may be possible, right? So when you're scared, when you are scared, you ever heard the expression, don't show fear or he'll bite you when it comes to dogs?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're fearful, you let out a different vibe, right? Your EMS, your hormones, whatever.
And they can smell that too, bro. Dogs. Dogs can smell your fear.
Every living creature, right? So what happens is that when you let off this vibe, right? I'm going to call it a vibe, right? Fear equals instability and unpredictability. And every living creature, including us, we want stability and predictability in our lives. Right? Chaos is not something that produces success.
Right.
And in the animal kingdom, in any living creature, including humans, we want things to always kind of be the same. We want things to run properly. We don't like chaos.
Right.
Okay. So when you're fearful, a living creature, what he sees is unpredictability, right? Instability, but that equals danger.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
When you're not fearful, that means you're predictable, you're stable, and you become neutral. Okay? Now, when people, let's say people, they see a Dogman and they close their eyes and they just hug themselves, right?
Right.
Can you be fearful of something you can't see?
No.
Okay. You were fearful. You were fearful because you saw the Dogman.
Right.
Now you close your eyes. Like I asked you, can you fear something you can't see? No.
Mm-hmm.
You might have some fear because you know what was in front of you, but because you can't see it,
it diminishes it. Yeah.
It diminishes it.
Mm-hmm.
But if your fear diminishes it, what do you become? Stable and predictable, which makes you be what? Not dangerous.
Oh.
So if I am in defense trying to chase you out because you're dangerous, and now because of your bodily language you become non-dangerous, then yeah, I'll walk away now.
That's crazy, but it makes sense. Yeah.
And including you've seen. I don't know if you've seen this, but I can show you a video. Some elephant guides, and like in Africa, whatever, safaris. How do they get? What is their first response to an elephant charging? They stand still and raise their hands. One hand, right? The elephant stops, walks away. And this is from a charging elephant. Most wild animals, most wild creatures, even your bully, right? If you stand tall, or if the bully, or even lions, or mountain lions, right?
Right.
They kill you because they come from behind. Unless this wild animal has had a favor experience eating humans, the minute you turn around and look at them, what are they going to do?
They're going to attack.
No, if you look at them,
they stop. They stop. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because they like to attack from behind.
Yeah.
All felines, yeah.
So all these different behaviors are seen in nature. It's just a lot of times we anthropomorphize Dogman like if it was a human.
Right.
But they're not human.
Hey, Ricky, I got a question, man, from Dark Woods. He says, has Ricardo ever had an encounter that he thought he was going to die?
Yes.
Yeah? Can you tell us?
That was like in my property in Wisconsin, the first time I was surrounded. The apartment I lived in was, and we lived out in like cornfields. Our property was like in the middle between cornfields. My wife had accidentally set the house on fire. Which the house didn't catch on fire, but the kitchen caught on fire, some of the cabinets. So I had to replace the vinyl floor and some of the cabinets. And one night my parents were coming on for vacation in a couple of days, so I had to redo everything really fast. And that night we had taken the old cabinets out, and as I took them out, I had put my utility knife inside the cabin, the cabinet. And I was inside. We were spreading out the whole vinyl floor, and I'm looking for my utility knife to cut the edges off. And I'm looking for it, and my wife goes, "I think it's in the cabinet outside." Now the back door didn't have a spotlight, so it's dark back there. The only light that's reflecting is the light from inside the house. Now there's a double sliding door, so there's a lot of light coming out. And because we were working on the kitchen, other lights in the house were turned on. So although there was no lights back there, the reflection of the lights from the inside of the house were reflecting somewhat outside. As I got to the cabinet, I felt this feeling of dread.
Man.
This feeling of dread and death.
Wow.
So it kind
and
of
this was right outside your house?
Yes, right outside.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I kind of like lowered my head and grabbed the cabinet. And and my senses began to like
tell you.
I was going haywire. The first thing I did was the response was turn around. And when I turned around, there was a white Dogman on the other side of the apartment.
What?
You could only see like half of his face and like part of his arm as he was holding the side of the wall, looking at me. But the feeling was coming from the other side.
Uh-huh.
So now I turn back around because the feeling's coming from the other side, and I see a shadow moving towards me, slowly moving towards me. But again, I have one behind me. My brain already told me there's one behind you.
Right.
So now I'm like sideways, trying to look back and look to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And now because my body is facing the other side of the cornfield, I see three more coming from that side of the cornfield.
3 more.
There were a total of 5, which was like the whole clan back then came out. They came out to meet me.
Wow.
And like I said, that feeling of dread and death, like you were doomed, you know?
Yeah,
And I closed my eyes, and I was kind of like in shock, kind of.
Yeah.
But my brain kept on telling me, you can't scream, you can't yell out for your wife.
Yeah, no.
You don't know what's going to happen, and if your wife comes outside,
it's going to be worse.
It's going to be worse, and you have a baby inside the house.
Yeah.
That was a correctional officer back then, and I don't know how. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me. You know, I'm not somebody special, whatever. But I went from flight because I wanted to flee.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that heart, that gut drenching fear of dread was strong. But there's always a phrase that my dad, and something that you'll hear sometimes says, even if you're afraid, do it anyways. So I grabbed the utility knife, and I know I couldn't defend myself with a utility knife. It was just the whole point of it. I grabbed the utility knife. I stood up tall, straight, and I said, not in a loud voice because I didn't want my wife to hear it, but I said it was, "I'm not running. Back off." Something around those lines.
Right.
And I remember saying it twice. Right. And sure enough, the feeling began to dissipate.
Wow.
And I began to move slowly towards the door and like looking either side, and being like okay, screw you guys type of response, body wise, not verbally, but I live here, type of response from me. Not that I was saying it verbally at this point, but I remember them like going back. The white one I didn't see anymore. The one where I was getting the vibe from, like, kind of just walked sideways back into the cornfields. And the other 3 went right back into the cornfield as well. I remember walking into the house, closing the door, locking it, and the door had a lip. So as you walk into that door, you had to step down.
Okay.
And I remember stepping down and sitting on that lip. And my hands were shaking, my knees were shaking. And my wife comes out of the bathroom, and she was going to stop, keep going, and she stopped and looked at me and asked, "Are you okay?" And obviously, I'm not going to tell her what just happened. I just thought, no, I'm just tired. Let's just finish up here. Let's go to bed. And sure enough, that's what I did. I did like probably 10, 20 minutes more of something because I was literally shaking. Yeah. And I took a shower, a cold shower, and I went to bed. That was the first time I've ever got surrounded.
Wow, bro, that's crazy.
Every time after that I've gotten surrounded, I guess I've just repeated the screw it mentality.
Yeah.
The mentality of, well, if you're gonna kill me because I can't outrun you.
Well, yeah, that's kind. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I believe in that because, that's basically when I was real little, before I learned how to fight and all that. I used to get picked on a lot at school, right? So my brothers told me, "No, bro, you got to stand your fucking ground. If you're gonna get your ass beat, you're gonna get your ass beat. But at least you're gonna get respect. And if you get lucky, they're gonna be like, oh shit, this dude's not so scared for me to, whoop his ass. So damn, okay." And they did. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I started getting into fights with them, even though I knew they could beat me, and most of the time they did. This was kids. I'm talking about kids.
Yeah.
Like 5, 6, 7 years old, whatever. And you know what? After I fought him back, even though I knew I could, I had a good chance of losing. After the fight, they would become friends with me. They would shake my hand, and say, "Man, dude, you got a lot of heart, man. You're brave, man. I got to give it to you, man. I'm gonna be your friend from now on. You ain't got to worry about me, fighting with you no more." I'm like, "Damn, dude, that's cool, and that just stopped all the freaking bullying, right? Because see what it is when a predator, a bully, sees a weak person, which is a prey, they like to continue putting that fear on you. But when the prey turns it around and says, "No, I'm gonna stand my fucking ground. I don't give damn what you do. I ain't gonna go down without a fight." You know what I mean? Then that changes the mindset of the predator and says, "Oh shit, this ain't no fun. I'm not scaring this guy no more. I'm just wasting my time. Let me go find another weak person to go, mess with, you know what I mean? And scare whatever." So that, pertaining to that, what I'm giving the example of is what I think cryptids do as well. So if you stand your ground like you did, if you stand your ground and say, "No, I'm not going out without a fight," in which I think that's what I would do. Like either I would get killed, or I would, or they would leave me alone, because they would see that, dude, this dude's crazy. He don't care. He'll fucking fight us, even though he knows we can kill him, but he'll fight us to his death, right? So I think they perceive that as well, and they're like, "Oh shit, we can't scare this dude like we scare most people. So leave him alone. Let's go see what else we could do." You know what I mean? I think that's what it's like.
But
you know what I mean?
That's with everything. Like every people, predators, animals in general.
Yeah.
Even dogs, domestic dogs, the same way. If because remember, one thing that training dogs, whatever, has taught me, and wild animals, you can be aggressive because of two things: fear, defensive, or ranked.
Yes.
Rank is an animal that is ranked is not normal. Ranked is bred into domestic dogs, right? So you can breed a German Shepherd, a Belgian Mountain, or a Rottweiler that is ranked. Ranked means that dog will kill you even if you fight back. He doesn't care what you do. It's going to go after you. It lives for the fight, right? But
those are programmed. They're not free thinking. You know what I mean? And I think Dogman are free thinking.
When it's a dog that's been bred that way. Bred.
Yeah.
That means it's in their DNA. That's their DNA. That's how they are.
Right. Yes.
Right. Now, wild animals or wild creatures, anything wild, right? Nature, that is not programmed into them, because that can get you hurt.
Right.
And if you get hurt, you won't live to have another day of hunting, of eating, of breeding, right? Because the main things for any living creature is food, water, and shelter, right? So if I'm a predator and I can't hunt, I can't breed, then there goes half of my life.
Yeah.
That's why if a cheetah kills a gazelle and here comes a lion, that cheetah is not going to act ranked and fight the lion for his prey, because he knows he's going to lose.
Dude, have you seen when the lions capture one lion or a couple lions capture like a water buffalo, and then the rest of his buddies come and help him out?
Yeah.
And then that water buffalo alone is fighting for his life. He's horning at him. He's stabbing him with the horns, all kinds. And then what those lions do is they're like, "Holy shit, this motherfucker ain't going down without a fight." So oh no, man, this is too dangerous. Let's go live another day so we can attack another wild beast. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what happens with everything.
Yeah.
If at least that's what I've been using, right? And I probably get killed one of these days. Who knows, right? But using that logic, I'm not here to threaten you. I'm not here to kill you.
Right.
But don't mess with me.
Right.
I'm not afraid of you.
Right.
But now, as a cryptid, it's more of, well, what could happen if I go after this guy? Do I really want to get hurt?
Right.
right? Because they don't know. They don't know if I have something under my sleeve or what I have under my sleeve, right? And it happens with every wild animal.
Yes.
Like the lions you just mentioned. And the buffalo is fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Right? He's on defense, he's on fear mode, he's fighting for his life.
He's fighting for his life.
But the lions say, you know what? I'm not gonna
I'm not gonna risk my life. Yeah.
Right. And if lions do that, then cryptids aren't any different.
Yeah.
And for me, in my research, I have shown that.
And even smarter, Ricky. I think they're even smarter than regular, animals.
Oh no, they're a lot smarter. Oh yeah, they're definitely a lot smarter.
So they know how to, try you, or they think that you're up to something. They better off, taking off than trying to, fuck around and find out. You know what I mean?
No, they're definitely smarter.
Yes, and I've seen many videos, dude, touching on this subject. I've seen many videos because I watch like videos every single day, right? At work, at home, whatever, at night before I go to sleep, all that. Where there's animals, or I should say, predators, where they see some type of prey just right there, free for the taking. And before they try to go take it, they are looking around, making sure it's not a trap. And somebody's not going to want to shoot them as soon as it gets close to it or whatever, So I don't know if you ever seen this before, but animals react that way when they get close to a prey. They like, okay, well, have you seen the ones where the lions find a newborn baby zebra or little calf or something? It gets it gets close and it's looking like everywhere like he's saying, like, I can't believe this thing is just so easy for me to just take and kill and eat, right?
Right.
Because they're used to like running, chasing down, and hunting their prey, not just having it free for all, right? So when they go up there, they're like, dude, and they're just looking around, like, and then they get close, and then they get back again, and they look around like, man, I'm not sure about this, like, this may cost me my life, you know what I mean? So they're so they're that smart to figure that out, and they're like, no, I better not, you know what I mean? And yeah, sure enough, here comes mama, or here comes, whatever, how many to save him, and he has to run off. But yeah, I think that's just the general animal instinct that, all animals have,
Absolutely. Like I said, I've yet to see anything out of a norm that you don't see out in nature already. Yeah, some of it might be more prevalent, I'll use maybe a little more exaggerated. Some things you might not see it from, from that type of visual. Like, for instance, seeing something that looks like, or seeing a Dogman do something that a chimpanzee might do, right? It might not be normal to see something that looks canine type, but does or is as smart as one of your great apes. You know what I'm saying? So that's not normal for you to see. But if you take away your visual of what you're seeing, can other animals produce that behavior? The answer is yes. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's just that sometimes we don't visualize a big ass canine doing, or for instance, putting stuff back that it took out.
Okay, now let me ask you this, Ricky. Since you know so much of their behavior, and you've been around them way much more than any of us have. What do you think, speaking on the intelligence level of these cryptids, such as Dogman and Bigfoot, and their wild instinct animal side, right? How smart would you put their intelligence in, where they can think like a human but act like an animal at the same time? You know what I mean? Act out animal actions, whatever. but with human intelligence, or maybe even more, because some people say even more. But what do you think is their intelligence?
Okay, again, one of the things that I'm careful of is
Mm-hmm.
anthropomorphizing
Mm-hmm.
um, Dogman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Towards human intelligence.
Yeah, being that
Not,
you studied their behavior,
right, right.
you would know a
Now,
lot more than.
what I would say
Mm-hmm.
is this: they are no less intelligent, so they can be slightly more, but I'll
Right.
say they're no less intelligent than a bonobo ape.
Okay.
Now, a bonobo ape has been able to start a fire and cook a hamburger.
Hmm.
Well, not a hamburger. Sorry. Let me backtrack. Roast marshmallows on the fire
Mm-hmm.
that he himself started.
Right.
Right. Um, some of your great apes have seen villagers wash their clothing in the water, and
Mm-hmm.
they themselves will begin to wash their stuff in the water.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So they're and one of the things that I'll say that it's not completely human intelligence, right,
Mm-hmm.
is because we have a case in Dogmantopia
Mm-hmm.
where the several went into the bottom of the cabin, a cabin,
Mm.
and the eyewitness had some stuff in front of the door,
Mm-hmm.
and the eyewitness would always take the stuff out, go inside, do what he had to do, close the door, and put the stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
The day they went in, obviously they had to take that stuff out. Well, this shows how much they've been looking at the eyewitness and how he did things.
Mm-hmm.
They took the things out, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
also shows you how they're not human, completely human.
Mm-hmm.
They tried putting the stuff back the way it was.
And they couldn't.
They almost tried it, but you can tell that, well, this wasn't exactly the way I had it.
Right. Right.
They put it back, right? Stacked up how quote unquote it was, but not exactly how I put it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they have the intelligence to understand, well, this was here.
Mm-hmm.
I took it out, I'm going to put it back.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have the intelligence to say, I got to put it back exactly
Exactly.
how
Right.
the
Right.
human did it.
Right. 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 Right.
So in general, we might not catch the slight differences if it's in our yard or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they kind of put it back. And because it's in our yard, we might not catch the difference on how it was.
Mm-hmm.
But that shows, for me at least, that it's not a human intelligence. It is a intelligence. Again, the reason I say bonobo apes is because they're one of the, if not the smartest apes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they're no less than that.
Are those the ones that almost look human-like in the face?
I don't. They're
No.
bigger. They're like a bigger version of a chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee, yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not.
they're bigger. They're bulkier.
Yeah.
They're not as small as a regular. Mm-hmm.
Right. They're not that small.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a type of chimpanzee. I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They
But
got a
like,
big head and
yeah.
big
But
eyes,
there,
kind of like human-like almost.
but there's a video of one striking a match against the box and lighting a fire and then roasting marshmallows on it to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's able to understand that, right, then that's where why I use that as an example. Dogman is very smart. They can learn things very quickly and
Mm-hmm.
imitate and mimic and go about their shit without you noticing them. Like in my property, give you a perfect example. And this was their downfall,
Mm-hmm.
right? In the mornings at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, I would hear this little songbird in the property. Real cute little songbird, right?
Mm-hmm.
But before I knew it was a songbird, I would hear this thing at 1 o'clock in the morning. And my brain was, wait a minute, this is a Dogman.
Oh, I just caught that. At 1:00 in the morning, there's no birds.
I was. This is the Dogman, and I'm like,
So
okay.
Dogman imitating a
So
bird.
I'm looking
Okay.
around. I'm like, okay, you're walking, and you would hear them on one side, you hear them on the other side,
You're like,
and
okay.
then and then one day, the first time I caught it, I'm
Yeah.
going to the mailbox, and it's 8:00 in the morning, like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I hear the same damn bird, and I'm saying to myself, "Oh, so the Dogmen are out at this time. They're probably following me, right?"
Mm-hmm.
I look around, and I see this little tiny bird
Mm-hmm.
singing
Mm-hmm.
and doing the same.
The
And I said,
same.
"Oh, wait a minute, that's the same." And my brain started thinking, I'm like, wait, time out. Obviously, if you're a songbird that's up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to be up at 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
You'll be roosted and sleeping, not making vocalizations and going from tree to tree and being active,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
then I realized, well, wait a minute. So on my property, they're just mimicking the natural wildlife that's already there at nighttime, just to get around you and you not notice.
Wow. Damn.
That's how smart they are.
Yeah.
And if you don't catch that, people will say, "Oh, I've never had Dogman." Well, you probably did. Problem is, you never realized that the damn songbird or the damn whatever they're mimicking at 1:00 in the morning
Yeah.
comes out at daytime too. So what? The animal never sleeps. Is up all 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bird
No,
is
it can't be. It's got to be the Dogman at night and the bird in the morning. Yeah.
Exactly, or vice versa. But
Right.
people don't catch that.
Right.
I
Right.
catch it because I know they mimic,
Right.
and I've been out there long enough, so it's like stuff like that clicks on me. Oh, hey, time out.
Right.
But that's how smart they are. They will actually use their natural environment sounds, including if the natural environment sounds are chainsaws, are whatever it might be.
Yeah,
They will use their natural environment sounds and mimic to run around and you not notice.
Yeah. I've heard birds mimic chainsaws, bro. That shit was crazy. I was like, what? That's crazy. They would like a truck starting up, or they go choo choo choo, choo 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 choo, like that, like a truck starting up, or some type of machinery. Like they imitate everything, and then he did the chainsaw like that, dude. I was like, what the? Like a bird, dude, a bird with a little tiny brain this big.
Yep.
How can it mimic, what it hears in the forest? Imagine,
Right, something with a lot more intelligence.
a lot more intelligence, dude. I mean, God.
Yep. Just the other day, I was listening to, what was it? I think it sounded like a motor ripping, roaring, hitting the glass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the gas. And I'm looking into, at first I thought it was just, okay, it was just the car, whatever, right?
Right.
And I'm looking into the direction, it's like, wait a minute, there is absolutely nothing
cars.
in that direction.
Yeah, there's no cars.
There's nothing there's no roads, there's nothing in that direction.
Right.
And the closest house on that direction through the road and through, it has to be about 2 miles.
Shit.
And I'm hearing it like if it's right there.
Damn.
All I said, literally, because I was standing next to the van, was like, you guys are stupid or what? That's all I said. You guys are stupid or what? Because it's like, hello?
Yeah.
Obviously, with people around here, they probably don't pay attention.
Right.
They get passed by doing stuff like that without getting noticed.
Right.
But when you're always out in the woods, when you've been with them for several years, and
and you can pick it,
like,
and you can pick up on it a lot
right.
easier.
So it's like, you guys are stupid. It's like really.
Yeah, like who you trying to kid?
One day was funny. There was I forgot what the bird was, a whippoorwill. And it was going off, and One guy came to the property, and I didn't say nothing, and this whippoorwill goes off, and the guy's eyeballs just looked at me like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And I go, yep. Whippoorwill, that whippoorwill has to weigh about probably 100 pounds if it was a whippoorwill, because that's how strong it sounded, right? That's how loud and strong it sounded. And before the guy got here, I would hear it once in a while. It stopped making the sound, believe it or not. It stopped. Because it realized that I caught on to it too damn quick. Because whippoorwillows aren't, the bass behind this guy was like, you're so stupid. You're trying to imitate a whippoorwill, and you're probably 6,000 pounds, and your voice is way too thick, and that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Like if the whippoorwill weighed 100 pounds, 100-pound whippoorwill, and that's what it sounded like. But so noises like that had stopped. When they realized that I was catching on to these mimics,
right,
they've stopped. The sound bird has stopped. Now all I hear once in a while is the clicking, which is normal for their like voice. I don't know if it's their tongue or what they do. But I'll hear that. I'll hear the rustling, or just the plain old that predator sound, or some other I'm not happy for whatever reason
noise,
and they'll just go around.
Yeah.
One day I heard a slap, which I think was a Bigfoot. That was like right next to me. I don't know what it slapped. It was his hands or his stomach or his chest or whatever it slapped.
Wow.
I was putting the dogs back in their crates. It was 4:30 in the morning, and this thing just went flap. One slap, one loud ass slap.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh hell no. My brain was saying, oh hell no. And I'm walking around the van, putting the dog inside, and I slowly close the door. Like, no, what am I supposed to do now? I gotta go back to the van. But nothing, I went around the van, acknowledged them, and whatnot, and I said some things in a low voice, and got in the van and went to work, But it seems that they're like, they'll come around now, but they're not like trying to hide things. They're just like, well, this guy knows about us, and they'll stop by or something, and they just keep walking, or you'll hear them leaving, or a howl out not close by or something, but
right.
They haven't really done anything. They haven't really done anything to get their attention. Because it's my property,
Right.
I'm not there for investigations. I'm going to live there. So the last thing I want to do is attract their attention to me as a property. If they're there, they're there. If they go by, they go by. Right. I acknowledge their presence, and keep doing my shit, even though I know that one's probably squatted down looking at me.
Yeah. I know, man. That's what I was gonna say. Like, you probably have him closer than you think. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I know that he's probably somewhere squatted down looking at me.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I got better
studying you while you studying him.
Right. But like I said, I got better things to do than to try to figure out where the hell you're at.
Right.
I got grass to cut and whatever, so I might hear something and I'll just say, like, I'll cut the trimmer down and I go, yeah, I know you're there.
Yeah.
But keep going through the trimmer,
Hey Ricky, we're fixing to have to in the show, because we've been going on a little bit over 3 hours, bro. I know it hasn't seemed that much to us, but maybe the audience it is. And I was gonna ask you real quick, man, what is your take, and just like as a final question to you from me, okay? What is your take? Because I noticed you mentioned that earlier when you said something about the lady with their the type of stuff that they look at inside their house and stuff, bringing negativity, which I've touched on that before. Do you think, like, maybe me watching Dogman videos all the time, Dogman encounters, Dogman videos, Dogman movies, all that shit. Do you think that it's just out of curiosity? Do you think that will maybe one day attract a Dogman to me, bro?
No.
To me to have a sighting or an encounter?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
That part say no. Now, I'll say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more, because with the community nowadays, there's a lot of, and again, this is just my thoughts based on what my research, but the more you go into certain things, the more you will be watching, seeing stuff from the occult, stuff, black magic or whatever, right? And this does not mean that you practice it, right?
Right.
But the more, because people nowadays that don't research, that don't go out, rather, and some people that do go out, they listen more to what they hear versus to what they themselves research. Right? So a lot of people will say, well, I heard this, well, I heard that, well, I heard this, well, I heard this. But they themselves have never researched it, right? So people, and this is where people get in trouble sometimes, because in the community, there's a lot of people that practice these things that are being infiltrated, trying to promote themselves. This is where you get people that will tell you, well, do this prayer or do this seance or do this ritual, which you get a lot of, believe it or not. So when you begin to listen to videos and stuff like that, you begin to bring this information, right, that is included in some stories into your life, whatever goes into your body or your eyes, you will eventually reflect it. Right?
Really? Yeah.
And when that happens, and that's just a neurological thing, once that happens, you might have problems with that stuff.
Now let me ask you a follow-up question on that. Do you think the brain of watching so many things like this after so long period of time will start actually seeing these things when they're not really there? When they're not really there? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's like proven science.
So that's like a psychological type of problem, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Even Linda Godfrey said it. Linda Godfrey said three things. Dogmen are three things. A biological creature, a demonic entity, right? Or people's imaginations. And it's people's imaginations because what you put into your mind, you will eventually reflect it. Every time you, like for instance, in your dreams, normally it's the last thing that you saw. Or the last situation in your life, and that's what you kind of dream about. Your brain, like, did you know that your body can control your brain? No. What you do can eventually affect how you think. And that's psychological. That's like a proven scientific studies that you can look it up.
Okay.
What you do in your life with your body will affect how your brain functions.
Okay.
So if you become if you're a person that comes home from work and watches Netflix all the time, and you begin to become lazy, you begin to go whatever, right? Your brain will eventually come up with excuses that you are a certain way because that's what your body told it.
Oh wow.
And when that's why it's hard for a person to become disciplined, right? Because when you
because you listen more to the body, is what you're saying,
right? Well, when you become disciplined, you're making the brain tell the body what to do. But the body has been telling the brain what to do all this time.
Right.
That's why it's difficult.
Right.
That's why to become disciplined, you must do what you don't like to do.
Yeah.
To become disciplined.
Yep. I agree.
And that's like I said, that's scientifically proven.
Yeah.
That happens. And I can send you information. I can
Yeah.
send you a doctor saying it and explaining it.
Yeah. I like that, man. That's a damn good explanation, bro.
So people watch and begin to bring this information to their bodies and brain, because their bodies are always sitting in front of it. They begin to act some of these things, and do some of these things. That's what you'll eventually think.
Mm-hmm.
That's like.
I think, like, if somebody puts it into their mind that they really, really, really want to see a Dogman one day, they're gonna hallucinate one day and actually think they see a Dogman. You know what I mean?
No,
I never do that. And, I never, put in my mind, I'm going to see a Dogman one day. I'm going to see it. No, I've never done that. Or never will. But just, out of curiosity of watching all these movies and shows and groups on Facebook and, whatever. Now they even have them on TikTok, man. They got, creepy shit on there.
But for instance, there's a guy that a person that messaged me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen so many Dogman encounters and videos and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
He has begun. This is how your body responds to things in your brain. Mm-hmm. He has begun to buy more guns.
Holy shit!
Right, and he has begun to go out on the range to practice his shooting.
Right, because he thinks he's going to run into one.
Because he doesn't want to run into one.
Right.
And not know how to shoot.
Right, yeah.
So now a person is changing their whole life. Now, the guy already had guns, but he's buying more guns. Right? So he's changing his whole life based on what he's hearing.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what happens to a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, like I said, not me. I don't change anything. I don't like. I watch that shit like right before going into bed, and I never have, nightmares on it. After so many years that I've been doing that. I think I might have had one or maybe two, but Dogman chasing me, but he never got to me, never killed me, never nothing. Just chasing me. That was it. But out of all these years, dude, since like 2016 or 17 when I started looking into Dogman, like hardcore, I've never had dreams like that. And I never, went outside smoking and thinking, oh, Dogman's going to come around the corner of the street and, trying to get me. No, never. But
there are, I'm going to use this word, they are.
But you can start seeing things, though, you know what I mean?
Yes. You will.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just you.
If you see that so much,
who's the mind? Who's the person?
Mm-hmm. Every
person has different minds.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have weaker minds. Some people have stronger minds.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, like for instance, I'll take you for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know you very well when it comes to your personal life, but I'm pretty sure you're a busy man. You're always working. You're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So because you're constantly doing something else, just because you watch that, an hour or two at nighttime or whatever.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
May not affect you because you're putting more in of something else than that.
Yeah, that's not all I do. I do all these other things.
Right.
But if I was like stay at home, you have
right
24/7 just watching that shit, maybe retired or something.
The same thing happened to the guy that killed himself, committed suicide. He had a encounter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was taken to the hospital because he went into kind of like shock.
Oh.
This is a young man in his 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
He began to listen to podcasts about Dogman.
Oh shit.
And about werewolves.
Oh, made it worse.
Like living werewolves, right? And how witchcraft and all this other stuff, because everything he listened to and kind of heard were all about witchcraft, not necessarily witchcraft, but like spells and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorcery and witchery.
So he locked himself in his room, and that's all he would listen to.
Oh, that's not right. That's not good, bro. That's not good. That'll mess with you psychologically.
Right. His friend, who's the eyewitness who knows the Dogman, right, and was there and kind of made the Dogman go away, right? Tried to convince him, hey, listen, this isn't that, this isn't witchcraft, this is a creature that actually exists, and blah, blah, blah. They thought she was a werewolf. They made her walk through salt. They gave her silver objects. They even made her go to their house on a full moon.
Damn.
Right? That's how bad it was. But this guy, he just simply locked himself in his room, and that's all he would listen to. He convinced himself that they were out to kill him, and on his last note, that's when, he explained some stuff, and he committed suicide.
Damn.
But that goes to show you when you're going down a path that you're not supposed to go.
Right, yeah.
How watching this stuff can cause you to make the wrong decisions.
Right. Right. No, that's going way too overboard, bro. That's overdoing it like a MF. To lock yourself in a room and not have any type of activities or work or job or go play basketball, go skating, whatever. You know what I mean? Any type of hobbies. Just stay in your room and lock yourself up and watch nothing but that. Yeah, of course you're gonna traumatize yourself into thinking. Yeah, and especially that he did have an encounter, a real encounter, that made it even worse. That made it even worse. Like, right. Shit.
But you see why sometimes I can be, I'm going to use the word, right?
Right.
A little, offbeat when it comes to certain podcasts and certain information. Because, yes, this person made a choice, right? A conscientious choice, right? Yes, this person can be blamed for not getting help that was right in front of him, right? But how things are portrayed in a podcast can affect people. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because you're strong, gay strong, he's strong, but not everybody's strong.
Yeah. And they will buy into some shit. Right. And they will believe today, some shit, yeah.
Right. And then nowadays you have a lot of he said, she said.
Yeah.
And they won't listen to the actual person that actually had the encounter.
Right. They listen to it through a third person. And
Right.
Yeah.
It's like you get more valuable information. It might not be the information you want to hear, but you get more valuable information from a landowner.
Yeah. There's actually people that like to hear it from another person that tells the stories well than actually hear from the actual encounteree or eyewitness. Right. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
But it's just like stuff that. But yeah, watching it can affect you. And it just depends on how your lifestyle is.
Yeah, or how long you've been watching it.
Yeah.
How serious you're into it. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that completely makes sense, bro. I agree. So hey, bro. So let's go ahead and close off the show.
All right.
I think it's a good enough time. Damn, we went 3:30. But yeah, man. It was great having you here again.
Same here,
bro. And thank you for accepting my invite again, bro. And thank you for teaching us what some of us didn't know today. And thank you, man. Thank you for all your information, all your experiences, encounters, helping other people like that lady. Man, I mean, thank you for everything you do, bro. I for one like to, thank you for your hard work, bro, and appreciate what you do. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bud.
Yeah, bro, and that's from the heart, hermano. Tú sabes que yo te quiero mucho, güey. But yeah, man. We're just gonna have to stop this live.
I know.
I mean, this and continue another time because then we would go 8 hours. No, that's crazy, man. No, but definitely we should work on having you come back again. Blessing us with your information and and your insight on things. and your knowledge, because you're very knowledgeable, bro. And you got a lot of behavior, down to the T with these things and all cryptids. I'm pretty sure we haven't even touched, Bigfoot encounters or anything like that. You know what I mean? All we touch is Dogman and orbs tonight. But yeah, we definitely have to have you back on some other time, bro. If that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, cool. Hey, I saw you just came out. Just for the people that are watching, if they want to see your encounters or your interview with Dark Waters, right? You just came out with Dark Waters. How long ago? If you want to tell the people.
Probably a month ago.
A month ago? Okay.
Probably. It's amazing. It doesn't feel like that way, but maybe it was a month ago.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was like a week or two ago.
Yeah, no. I've like I said, it doesn't feel like a month, but it's Ricardo Sanchez into the Dogman Den. I think it was.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I remember.
So if you guys want to hear that one.
Yeah, So
we touched on like behavior 101 on certain things. Yeah.
Okay.
Just basic information. I'm pretty sure it's information a lot of eyewitnesses have not heard. Right.
Yeah, I checked it out. I listened to the whole thing, and I was like, man, that's badass. I like the way Ricardo, he explains things, and I watched it. I enjoyed it, bro. I enjoyed it. It was a damn good show with Dark Waters. Yeah, man, thank you. But I just wanted the people to know, just in case they want to see you, somewhere else or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans, any near future plans that you might want to, announce to the people or anything like that, or any special announcements?
I will announce it after I do my expedition.
No, okay. Which you're working on, right?
Yeah, what I'm working on.
Okay, all right, cool, man. Well, we can't wait to see it, hear it, hear your vocalizations that you do, and and watch whatever videos you do. I personally like to watch your videos, bro. Like the ones that you showed me when I first met you, the ones where you were walking out in the woods and these things were huffing and puffing at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of I like, bro. But yeah, man. Thank you so much, hermano, and we'll see you here next time whenever we set something up for the future. Okay.
All
right, man. Thank you, brother. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, good night, bro. Appreciate you. All right, everybody. Well, I'm gonna close out tonight's show. Stop sharing this. There it is. Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody who stuck around to watch to the end. Thank you. I know it was long, but me and Ricardo really like to get into things when it comes to cryptids. And maybe if you didn't stick around to the end, then maybe you could just come back and watch it. Another day. Finish watching it because it was pretty long. 3.5 hours. Was pretty long. Like, man, we need to cut it because if not, people are not gonna stay or stick around to listen to the whole thing, right? Because 3.5 hours. That's a lot. It's quite a lot. But anyway, thank you everybody who showed up tonight in the chat. Thank you everybody that I know is watching but doesn't comment. Thank you for coming, and I appreciate you too for coming and watching. And I'll see you guys on the next show, which I believe is either going to be next Friday or the following week after that. I'm working on having Joe Doyle from Hellbent Holler. This right here, Hellbent Holler. And I'm working on getting Martin Groves on too. I already spoke to him. We're already on the works. So if you guys want to see them, Joe Doyle, and hopefully he can get Jesse on because they work different shifts, so they can't always meet up. He explained that to me the other day. But I'll have either Joe and Jesse or just Joe, and then I'll have Martin Groves also, so he can explain all his knowledge in stories and encounters that he knows very, very knowledgeable man. He seems very educated. Also, the way I speak to him, man, it's like wow. It's like speaking to like my grandpa or something. Like very, very educated. And but yeah, working on those guys. So I hope y'all stay tuned to see that whenever I get it set up. And of course, y'all know that I'll promote it on the groups and in my group and a couple other groups. So yeah, I'll let y'all know ahead of time whenever that's gonna happen. But yeah, stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to grow to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal for everybody who starts off, because you can go live without using third party studios like I am now with StreamYard. And you can get monetized. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to get monetized or you will get monetized. No, but you can. There's a good chance. There's a lot of things that depends on what your content's about, if there's any foul language, if there's stuff that's not made for kids, all that stuff, how many hours you have views, hours of videos, whatever. I mean, how many videos you've had, how long your channel's been up, all that. So yeah, I just wanna reach 1,000 followers, everybody. After that, it's whatever. I just want to reach 1,000 followers so I can get those types of benefits from YouTube. So if y'all can help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. Okay. And thank you. Yes, John Miller. Thank you, John Miller, for coming by, man. Thank you. Killer show. Yes, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And Dark Woods, thank you. Thank you, Dark Woods, for helping out, man, and being here to the end, bro. Thank you. Yes, Bama, it was long. I know. Thank you. That's why I said, man, we got to cut it off because it's 3.5 hours. So, that's too long. I don't want to put a lot of people through that. Some people do get, like, oh man, when's this guy ever gonna finish the show? They get bored or whatever, I'm just thinking that maybe that's what it is, but I don't know. Maybe y'all do like to hear me babbling. I don't know. Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm just talking out of my ass now. But thank you, Duty Bird. Thank you, man. You're a new guy. I haven't seen you here before, but thank you very much, bro. I appreciate you for coming out and checking the show. Thank you for your kind words. And yeah, man. I will work on getting good guests on for for the future shows. Like I said, I'm working on Martin Groves, and I'm working on Joe Doyle from Hellbent Holler. All right. Okay. Well, I don't want to take too much of your night, guys, so I'm gonna have to get off of here as well. I'm kind of tired myself. I need a cigarette. I need to go to the restroom. I need to get something to drink. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay. And I'm thinking, if not next week, the following week for sure. Okay. All right. So I'll see you guys later, man. Thank you, everybody, from the heart. I appreciate y'all being here, supporting the supporting me, supporting the guests, supporting the show, the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, guys. I'm out of here. Peace out. See y'all later.